Okay, should be live. Yeah, it looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Evan Freiberger, and today we're going to be covering the tropical storm Chantal is out there still spinning. You can see quite clearly here on the satellite. We still got some pretty healthy cloud tops off on the eastern side of the storm. And yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. Hopefully everybody is having a good afternoon so far. Hello. Early? No, I just pushed it back 5 minutes. I was in the restroom. I just wanted to make sure that I could get here in time. And what's up? Hello. Welcome. Hopefully everybody is having a good night. Wishing people safety. Yeah, me too. We believe it or not, we do have a little plane inbound on our tropical system right now. You can see. Jesus.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Oh, wow. That over here? A PDS severe thunderstorm warning. Not that one. Where is that? Oh my gosh, this is in Texas. 90-mile-per-hour windstorm. What the heck? That's wild. 90-mile-per-hour windstorm heading down towards Dalhart, Texas, and 54. I'm feeling awesome. Thank you for asking. Feeling great. Also, we have a storm chaser out there. This is Pagey Tornado and Bryce Shelton. Not newlyweds yet, but they are engaged now, which is cute. This is the view out near Wilmington, North Carolina. We'll be keeping an eye on them throughout the stream as we wait for our plane to get there. We're hoping to get some new data in as that plane comes into our storm. We should see pretty shortly where that center of pressure is. And yeah, here's our latest data, and it's getting pretty close to the center of the storm. And currently they are measuring a 1007 millibar pressure. They're not quite at the center just yet. But we're going to be expecting this plane to be flying through the center, then eventually into our strongest pocket, probably where some of our strongest winds are, which is going to be on the eastern side of the storm. So we're about to find out if this storm is going to be a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm right now, or maybe something a little bit stronger. Now, this will give us a lot of information to kind of give you guys a last little update here from Georgetown up to Myrtle Beach, all the way up to Wilmington. Still got a tropical storm warning. I mean, not a whole lot has changed in the forecast, to be honest, since we last talked, but we do have some new data about to come in. So I do think that a lot is about to change. We should, in my opinion, see the strength of the winds, see how they are compared to what they were before. So that'll be helpful, and it'll also, give you guys a good understanding of what kind of storm we're dealing with before it makes landfall, as that is important. As the last update that anybody has gotten on this thing is that it has a wind speed of 45 miles per hour. So is it stronger? Is it weaker? Storm still looks healthy, so it could technically be the same, or maybe it has a little bit stronger winds in there and we get an upgrade before it comes into land here. So that is the questions that we will be answering during this stream as we monitor our plane that is out there. We are in the cone. Yeah, the cone has gotten also a little bit smaller. Looks like they've taken Charleston out of the cone. Looks like Georgetown is still near the center, and Myrtle Beach is on the eastern side of the cone there near Carolina Forest and Conway. I think I want to make my camera just a tad smaller. There we go. They have passed several bills against chemtrails. Who introduced that bill? What a ridiculous thing. Durham and Raleigh and Mebane all in the cone. Yeah, all in that cone. Looks like you guys are going to be, they did drop the wind speeds of what this is going to be as it approaches you guys down to 30 mile per hour max wind speeds, are like, sustained winds. So it's probably going to be gusting around 30 miles per hour most of the time. And then every now and then it will gust up to 40-mile-per-hour winds as that comes up to the north towards Raleigh. Good evening. Good evening. Sitting here waiting in Raleigh. Yeah, that won't be most likely until it's going to make landfall tomorrow morning, and it won't be until the next day in the morning before this, at the very least, the low pressure of the storm comes through. But there is one thing I do want to point out and see if it is still on our models here. We are getting an indication that we might get some decent flooding out of this storm from our 18Z. Let me go ahead and turn off some of our tropical things here so we can get a little bit of a better picture on what's going on with this model. Yeah, if we come over here to our total precipitation, our latest 18Z HRRR, which fully loaded pretty much right after I got off, is showing that we might have a flood problem here near Durham in Raleigh. I mean, we're talking about potentially anywhere from 7 to 9 inches of rain up there. Now, keep in mind the HRRR, if we compare it, so as you can see, the main core of the rain, according to the HRRR, goes a little bit further to the east. If we come over here to the hurricane model, though, and take a look at it, and I'll push it up into the future, you can see that it takes the main core of rain to the west of Durham and Raleigh. So quite the difference here on where our main core of precipitation goes. But it is kind of painting a picture that some potentially dangerous and maybe even life-threatening flooding could be possible. If you look at the HRRR's 18Z run and look at the reflectivity here, you can see that it kind of swirls a little bit, makes landfall there in the morning of the 6th, and then you can see it brings a lot of rain that kind of just stays over the same spot there near Durham. So got to watch out for that potential. Again, it's one of those scenarios where, you know, it could happen, it might not. The HRRR at this moment is kind of the only model that is showing this amount of precipitation, but I would just keep that in mind, you know, as we go into around 5 to 6 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon is right around when that rain is really going to be starting to pile up. So if you start to get some heavier rain over there near Raleigh and Durham, and it just doesn't stop, then all of a sudden you get a flash flood warning, I'd pay attention to it, that would indicate that the HRRR was right. So definitely want you guys to be pretty hyper or flood aware over there near Durham and Raleigh, as this is kind of a new solution that is popping up on our radar here. And it looks like it could be potentially life-threatening. Again, 8 to 9 inches, you know, within a couple of hours could be enough to even prompt a flash flood emergency. So I would definitely be keeping an eye out for that potential. We did also get a new run of our tropical hurricane model here. And if we come over here to our wind speeds, as this thing makes landfall, still not a whole lot of big changes with that. You know, it's still saying near the coast is where our strongest winds will be, especially over there near Myrtle Beach, Wilmington as well. And, you know, it's indicating anywhere from, you know, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. But again, the data that this model will have for its next run is going to be coming from this plane that is entering into Chantal right now. So will it be a lot stronger than what this model is indicating right now? Our latest run indicates that our wind should be sitting around 40 to 50 miles per hour in some spots near the surface. If that's the case, then, you know, we will definitely see an upgrade to this storm, because it's right now sitting at 45 miles per hour. But, you know, if the plane goes through and it's showing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds near the surface, then that's going to raise some eyebrows that this thing is stronger than the models have anticipated. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at today. That's why this plane coming into the storm right now is so important. Fireworks have started back up here. Really? Again? A category 1 would be insane. Yeah, that would be a surprise. I'll tell you what, if this plane flies through and finds category 1 hurricane strength winds, that would surprise a bunch of people. I don't think we're going to see that. Hopefully, that would not be good. I mean, really anything like 40, if this thing still only has 45 mile per hour winds right now, the chances of it strengthening right before land is on the lower end, because near closer to the land is colder ocean waters, and this thing's still going to be generally dealing with the same shear environment. It might organize a little bit more, but you know, landfall at around 45 to 50 mile per hour winds is going to be kind of scary. Some gusts are going to get up to 65 miles per hour winds. That could be a little bit scary. That could definitely knock out a couple bits of power, but I mean, once you get up into that 60-65 mile per hour range for a tropical storm, that's when things get a little bit dicey. You know, constant 60 to 65 mile per hour winds can knock down a decent amount of power for a lot of folks. And then the wind gusts can get up into 70 to 80 miles per hour. On top of that, you're talking about, you know, a pretty impactful storm. So there's a big difference between those two types of categories of a tropical storm. One's like more of a mid-strength tropical storm. One is a strong tropical storm. And, you know, this area is familiar with stronger tropical storms. And so that's why this is kind of a pivotal moment of monitoring this storm, because we don't really get these hurricane hunter planes, especially for a tropical storm, that often come out and to investigate this storm. So we should be getting a drop sonde here shortly to see if the pressure's dropped at all. The last pressure was 1006 millibars, and then we'll have this plane fly into one of our more intense portions of the storm. And that will also, I think our strongest winds will still be in this northeastern quadrant. How am I feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for asking. There's nothing like Florence and Isaiah. Isaiah was more like a Cat 2 in Wilmington. The winds and tornadoes were crazy. Yeah, no, nothing like that. But, you know, there actually could be a tornado threat with this storm. We can go over to the HRRR and just kind of take a look at our significant tornado parameter really quick and see what it's looking like. Yeah, there will be some chances for some tornadoes. You can see on the front right quadrant, as this makes landfall, I mean, it's not super elevated. It's still not like sticking out to me as overly dangerous, but I definitely do think there could be, you know, the potential for a couple of brief spin ups, especially as this thing makes its way more inland. And as you can see, as it does that, we are going to have some convection out here. So there will be some convection. There will be some storms that can tap into that spin in the northeastern quadrant. That's something that we're gonna have to watch out for areas like Wilmington over there near Jacksonville as well. Yeah, 90 mile per hour winds over there. Yeah, we just went over that not too long ago. Let me see if I can get that back up. Yeah, back over here, just south of Dalhart. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere right now, those winds, but eventually they're going to probably try to make it to Channing. So it'll be interesting how fast these winds are going to be when they extend it down to the south and east. I think this area actually, like, wasn't it like a marginal? Yeah, marginal. This goes to show we are in the month of unpredictable storms. So always going to stay on your toes. Yeah, if you live just south of here, Dalhart, here in Texas, potentially up to 90 mile per hour wind gusts are surging out in front of the storm right now. Eventually going to be heading pretty close to Channing. I think this is more of a mesoscale accident. And I don't think it's going to last all the way to Amarillo, but there is a chance for some damaging winds eventually for the Amarillo area. Do we know how warm the water is this is heading towards? Yeah, I mean, we can go look at it, actually. So it's going to make landfall just north of Charleston. We'll come over here. Hopefully this shows up correctly. We don't have to adjust too much. Ocean analysis. We can go to the tropical Atlantic, not tropical Atlantic, wrong thing. I think it's the Western Atlantic. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect, actually. Yeah, I mean, right where it's making landfall is around 27 to 28 degrees Celsius. So this thing's been sitting over, 29 degrees Celsius, close to 30 degrees Celsius temperatures for a while. And it's about to head into some cooler water, still warm enough to sustain tropical activity. And depending on what the wind shear does, maybe could get a little bit stronger. But we'll have to see where the baseline is, right? Are we talking about a storm that is stronger than we already anticipated? Or are we talking about a storm that is just kind of holding on to its intensity? Because as of right now, it still looks like a relatively impressive storm. It looks like we just got that looks like the center of the storm is right here. Yeah, 106.6 extrapolated surface pressure. So the surface pressure hasn't really deepened that much in the center of our storm here. That would be most likely the location of our center. of the storm there, and that is about 57 miles from land. I think this thing's been moving at around 7 miles per hour. Kind of might have sped up a little bit though. That might be an indication that it sped up, because I think the last time from our last center, like an hour or two ago, or about an hour, or yeah, no, like 2 hours ago, it was around 7 miles per hour, and it was 70 miles off of the shore. Oh, that drops on. They've actually dropped it. All right, let me go see if that shows up. View drops on. Yeah, right there. Okay, so let me bring that up here. Not sure. Yeah, unfortunately, you guys can't really see this that great. But let's see. Yeah, at the surface, 105 millibars. So there you go. So it actually has, as you can see, the extrapolated isn't always 100%, perfect in terms of determining just how fast these winds are. And also the extrapolations aren't really that accurate in determining just how low the pressure is. And as you can see, the latest measurement here is that our surface pressure is around 1005 millibars, which means it has dropped. So it has deepened a little bit, that pressure. So it is a little bit stronger. Will that mean a significant uptick in the winds? We shall see. Actually, another thing we can look at. Let me go ahead and come out of here. Look at some of this data. Yeah, it looks like the pressure dropped. Their flight level, which matches up with the data. Yeah, it looks like the western portion. You can see over here, just above my head, the western portion of the storm. We'll bring this to here. The western portion of the storm is still relatively weak. We're only talking about 25 knots estimated surface wind speeds at max on the western portion of the storm. So we're really not talking a very strong storm on the western side. So if we come back over here to weather-wise, you can also see here on radar, really not seeing much on our western side of the storm either. So the western side of the storm still appears to be relatively weak in comparison to what is possible over here. You can see we got a lot more rain over here, a lot more precipitation. I wonder what our velocities look like. Man, look at that. The elevated, at least above the surface, velocities are picking up potentially up to 60 mile per hour winds there. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's making it down to the surface, but if that is, which we'll find out here shortly, that would be quite the escalation there. That'd be 60 to 65 mile per hour winds. So got to see if that is making it down to the surface or not. I doubt it. Usually it's a lot weaker near the surface. So we'll see what that Hurricane Hunter plane says. It should drop a drop sound in that area, hopefully giving us a better wind reading. When will it hit? They have moved up the time frame. So what we were saying earlier on our last forecast, that it seemed like the models were picking up on this thing making landfall a little bit earlier than what the National Hurricane Center was saying. It looks like they picked up on that too, and they have moved up the landfall to 1 a.m. And believe it or not, our center of low pressure is only 58 miles away from the coast. So depending on what our latest storm motion is in terms of just how fast it's moving towards the shore will also be important in helping us determine just how long we've got until this thing makes landfall. But according to our latest national hurricane data, this storm is moving to the north at 7 miles per hour. So that would be just under about 8 hours until landfall from now, if it stays the same speed. Finding 50 blowers in the western side. Yeah. Wow, that's actually pretty darn dry. Yeah, 50-degree dew points. Let's go look at the lower level. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Look at that. You can actually see some oranges popping up here. It is incredibly dry near the center of the storm. That is not going to fare very well, at least for the center to continue to really deepen that much before it gets to land. But I do think this eastern side can still surprise us. There's a decent amount of convection out there, so we'll see what it says. It's getting pretty close to that convection. In fact, if we come over here and turn on the radar, on Radar Omega, you can see that it is approaching some of our heavier precipitation out there, and I'm sure they're targeting this to measure to see what the strongest winds. And right here in this red blob, if we go over to our velocities, that was where we were picking up that escalation of wind there on velocities above the surface. So it'll be interesting to see what the plane gets out there. Yeah, hopefully we can send you guys to sleep, or at the very least, you know, we don't have to be live all the way to landfall, because if this thing's 45, 50 miles per hour, I think you guys are going to end out okay as long as you're not swimming in the ocean. But if we're up into like the 60, 65 range, probably need to stay alive. You can do cams. Sure. Why not? Let me get Discord up. The heck? Oh crap. I did forget to plug in my computer to the Ethernet cable. How's the connection? Yeah, if you could make that Fusion take off the where you're showing. Oh, I guess you can keep that up. I'll just crop that out actually. Okay, let me do this now. We'll come over to here. Actually, put that here maybe? No, put that here. And then I will go window capture, Discord. We're gonna have somebody working the traffic cameras out there. Where's Discord? There it is. All right, click a camera and then bring it full screen. I want to see how it looks when you do that. Sorry, just gonna set this up really quick. Someone offers you to control the cameras. You always say yes. A huge shout out to Fusion for electing to do this. This is a huge help. Yeah, try to see if you can find some storms out there, huh? Who knows? Maybe you'll catch a little errant wind gust or something. There you go. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Also, we also have Paige, tornado out there as well. Chasing, she's just south of Wilmington right now. Oh, he's got some new data from the plane. We're seeing some, oh, even a red flag. Whoa. Flight level 53 knots. Let me go bring that up on the website. Oh yeah, look at that flight level wind. About 55 knots there for a second. Extrapolated surface winds, about 52 knots. Do we got a new drop sound? Don't have a new drop sound yet. I usually trust the drop sound more than I trust the extrapolated winds. Oh, let me make this small so you guys can see it a little bit better. But yeah, look at it there. About, yeah, the surface wind there is about 52 knots. Let me see what that converts to. That's almost 60 miles per hour. That would be quite the escalation. But that's, yeah, that's extrapolated. That's not, you can't say that's 100%. They're definitely probably gonna upgrade this storm. But I unless we get a drop zone in that max wind band, we probably won't see them upgraded all the way up to 50 or to 60 knots or 60 miles per hour. Probably not. Well, we'll see. We'll see what that drop zone says when they drop it. We should be getting one as they're flying through there, but that's definitely stronger than it was before. 100%. We did not get that, I don't think, before. Wind has picked up here by the harbor. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Also, let me get this set up over here as well. Sorry. Get this. This will be a little bit annoying for just a brief moment. That to there. That there. I'll make this smaller. Let me just bring this on down to here. Turn this off. Bam. There we go. So now we got the traffic cam there in South Carolina, and we got Pagey Tornado out there as well. Charleston gets anything interesting, you're going to stream it tomorrow? Well, it'll be really early in the morning, probably when those max winds get there. You'll probably have to stay up. Olive Garden music. I really like this song, to be honest. It's like old timey, but it's still pretty nice. Looks like an eye. There's no eye right now. The center of our storm is actually back over here, away from our main convection. Keep in mind that wind shear is hitting this storm right now, pushing and nudging that convection off to the north and east, right? And so our center of the storm is back over here. If we ever had an eye form, it would be back here. But as you can see, it's incredibly dry where the center of our storm is right now. And that's because we have a lot of dry air coming in on the backside of this front. And that mixed with the wind shear is keeping our heaviest convection further off to the east here. And that is why, you know, I wouldn't, like, again, we had the plane go through this western portion of the storm. It's only measuring about 20 to 35 mile per hour winds on the western side. That's going to be going into Charleston. And that's why you guys are in a tropical storm watch, not a tropical storm warning yet. Now, the eastern side of the storm is definitely where most of our strongest winds are. And we might have had a wind reading close to 60 miles per hour with this, which would definitely be an escalation here. And that would be coming, you know, that's going to be on the eastern side of the storm. And that's going to be the part that's coming towards areas like Myrtle Beach in Wilmington, again, where we're expecting potentially 1 to 3 feet of storm surge there near the coast. So we'll have to see if we can get a drop sonde to be dropped out there and we get an actual like surface measurement. See what we're looking at. Let me kind of remember to minimize that. There we go. What we're looking at here from the plane data, this is just estimated surface wind speeds. You can see when the plane measured this wind speed was when it was at a you know, it wasn't at the surface. It's pretty close to the surface. It's about, you know, 4,000 to 5,000 feet above the surface, about a mile above the surface of the water. And so it's making an estimation of these surface winds. It can usually estimate pretty well. So that's what we're dealing with right now, is we've got potentially 60 mile per hour winds near the surface. That's an estimate though. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now, is to try to figure out, you know, exactly on whether or not those winds are actually close to the surface. And what this plane should be doing right now is dropping a drop sound into the portion of the storm where those stronger winds were. If we come over here to our radar, and look at it from the Charlotte, North Carolina radar here, you can see it's flying through some pretty hefty rain bands right now on the storm. And if we come over here to our velocities, you can see this is an area where, you know, it's honestly, we're looking kind of up into the storm. Where those winds where the plane is kind of where these winds are being indicated by radar. You know, we're a little bit far away from the radar, so we're looking up into the storm. So this isn't going to be exactly accurate on what is happening near the surface, but it's definitely interesting because we didn't quite have those strong of winds earlier when our first plane came through there. So definitely interesting. Winds at the northeast eyewall. Okay, that's not. You have to figure out exactly where they dropped that. Let me see. That must have just come in. Because the northeast eyewall, I don't think is going to be. They usually show where they drop the drop sound. Yeah, they dropped it. Yeah. Number 4 is, yeah, it's kind of where the plane is right now. And yeah, right at the surface, about 37 knots. Mean wind, lowest 150 meters, about 46 knots. Which is usually what they use to up. So that's definitely a stronger storm. Definitely a stronger storm. Not quite 51 knots though, which is I think the number that we put in. No, 52 knots. So let's see, 46 knots would be about 52 miles per hour. So looks like it looks like we're probably going to get an upgrade here in a little bit. That this thing has 50 mile per hour winds in it, which is what's forecasted. 50 mile per hour wind speeds, max wind gust of 65 miles per hour. But keep in mind, this plane is only beginning its journey here. It's going to be making a couple passes into the storm. It technically didn't go through the heaviest precipitation. It went through this leading edge of it, but it seems like our strongest precipitation, and also indicated by our velocities out here, that our strongest winds would be a little bit further back in. I'm not sure if we're going to actually get a pass, the plane to pass directly into that area, but we'll see. We'll see. That's where I'm assuming, at least my best guess of where the strongest winds in is. And it seems like it went just north of that. So we'll see. But it's definitely stronger than it was. And so we have learned at least one thing out of our first pass, is that the storm is stronger than we thought. Or at least stronger than what is forecasted. Or not forecasted. What's the word I'm looking for? Stronger than what the National Hurricane said it was at 7 p.m. That's the better way. That wasn't that difficult. Will it be close to Ocean City? Let me see where Ocean City is. Ocean City, North Carolina, Ocean City Beach. Yeah, you guys are just outside of the tropical storm warning, but you could probably get anywhere from like 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts there. It really depends on where that core of those winds come in. It has a little bit of an eye. It does not have an eye on it, guys. Does not have an eye. If we come over here to radar and we look at where the center of circulation, or the lowest pressure, so an eye would form where the lowest pressure of the storm is. It's right all the way down here where that lowest pressure is. The center of our storm is right now. And you can see all this precipitation is really just a rain band that's far away from that center of pressure. So it's not forming an eye. But it does have, an interesting looking area of some heavy rain. And that is also where our strongest winds are at the moment. And at its current trajectory, that would come pretty close or directly into Myrtle Beach. So Myrtle Beach has definitely got to be alert for the potential strongest winds of this storm. I wouldn't really pay too much attention to where this thing is making landfall, as again, that's the center of the storm is pretty dry, and the winds will definitely be stronger on the northern side of the storm. Storm surge should be rough. Yeah, especially if you live near the coast. I think our latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Let's come back. Bring this up here. Yeah, peak storm surge. They've actually dropped it. There was an area of 1 to 3 feet earlier, but now it's 1 to 2 feet all the way from Modesto Beach to Surf City Beach. So they've actually dropped it a little bit. So let me keep the National Hurricane Center up on this page. Yeah, our last update was 45 miles per hour, 1,006 millibars. That has dropped 1 millibar, and we're probably up 5 miles per hour from there. And is currently moving north at 7 miles per hour. This update was at 8 p.m. Central, or Eastern, which was about an hour and 30 minutes ago. Thank you, Dave, for gifting a membership. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, it looks like our plane is kind of getting out of those strongest winds. You can see it's a decent swath here of some elevated winds, at least aloft. That would probably be where our strongest winds are located. And at its current trajectory, this would probably come in some way like this, if you line it up to where the direction of the storm is going. That would include areas like Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, Shallot, Conway there as well. Tropical winds are expanding. Yeah, it does seem a little bit bigger. That is for sure. Yeah, I would say so. Is there a chance convection picking up on the Charleston side? Some models have been indicating some potential for that. But we haven't really seen it. Like as you can see, even our latest H Wharf model has Charleston on the dry side, pretty much. Let's see here, the HMON model. Let's see what it's saying. Yeah, it has Charleston on the dry side. There was some models bringing some, like our last and our 12Z model for Charleston. Let me come here, back over to here, and then we'll bring it back to 12Z. You can see that it was trying to bring maybe a little bit more convection into Charleston. But as you can see, as of our latest model runs, it's kind of backed off of that scenario. But, I would still keep an eye on it. I mean, you're in a tropical storm watch for a reason. It's because there's a chance, that, we might get a little bit more convection. But again, you need that convection to really bring those winds down to the surface. And if it's pretty dry, it's going to be hard for those winds to be that strong. And that's why, as our plane made a pass here through that drier air, there's just not a whole lot of convection bringing those stronger winds down to the surface. And you can see back over here where we have our strongest convection, all those winds are being pulled down. And, we start to see a little bit of an escalation there in terms of our wind speeds. Been lurking throughout the day, had a really good 4th of July. Nice. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Who else? How did everybody's 4th of July go, by the way? Y'all see any fireworks? Did y'all maybe drink a little bit too much? A lot of my friends do. It was awful. Sorry to hear that. That sucks. Fireworks were extra mosquito-y. Yeah. Yep. 50 mile per hour wind support. Yeah, that's what we just were talking about. I do think that this is going to be upgraded here by our next update to a 50 mile per hour tropical storm. We haven't seen any evidence to suggest otherwise. We definitely need to see, a drop zone with at least, 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts in order to support an upgrade to like 55 miles per hour. But we're just not seeing that right now. So it is strengthening, but thankfully strengthening still at a slow and steady space or slow and steady pace. But again, 50 mile per hour sustained winds with up to 65 mile per hour wind gusts is definitely going to be enough to knock out some power. And that's what we're expecting as this thing makes landfall. It's just not going to be as widespread as, say, a storm that was like 60-mile-per-hour winds. When is the worst going to hit Holden Beach? Let me see where Holden Beach is. Holden Beach over there near Oak Island. Okay. Yeah, it seems like, man, you might get a lot of rain or you just might not. But you're definitely probably going to get some stronger winds, anywhere from like, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds out of this storm, most likely. But it seems like the strongest winds, again, according to our models and just kind of what we're seeing with our data right now, it seems like our strongest winds are going to be coming into the Myrtle Beach area. Like in and around Myrtle Beach, Garden City Beach, and North Myrtle Beach. Might make it as far north as Holden Beach. Just depends on if we get any last minute shifts, because again, sometimes these storms can shift around a little bit, wobble, they say, before it makes landfall. Definitely would be weather aware for sure. Where's the best place to celebrate Independence Day? No idea. I've seen some pretty crazy fireworks shows online though. Definitely were way bigger than the one I saw. Can't get YouTube to play this live stream on your TV. Strange. I am sad. What? Is anybody else having that problem? What is it saying, Tam? That'll make no sense. Very impressive looking tropical storm. Honestly, not really. I mean, it's got a lot of convection. Don't get me wrong. Got a lot of convection on that northeastern side. But I mean, there is nothing around the center. Like usually when I'm thinking about what is an impressive tropical storm or not, is usually, just how much convection is wrapping actually and stacking near the center of the storm. And it's just so dry there. But I mean, it's definitely healthy for sure. But I mean, I've seen more impressive tropical storms before. It's impressive if you don't know it's lopsided. Yeah, exactly. Like if you think the center of pressure is back over here, yeah, that'd be impressive. But the center of pressure is actually over here, where there's like basically no convection. If we come over to our radar, you can see there's just nothing. Barely any rain near the center of the storm. That's honestly, I would say that's impressive. The lack of tropicalness happening in the center of the tropical storm is the impressive part. This is so dry. It's very lopsided. You can see all of our precipitation here is on the western side. Strongest winds are in this little band here. Let's see what's happening. I wish Paigey would go live on YouTube so we can have actual audio. I don't think I can turn on. Yeah, they don't have any audio on Radar Mega. I had to set their stream up through Radar Mega because they're not live on YouTube. Leave the pewter on for the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lauren. That's nice of you. That is very kind. All right, looks like, ooh, the plane's turning back around. Where does it go next? Does it try to measure the same area, or does it give us a little bit more data? Let's see if we got any more drop zones in there. Any more drop soons? Do a little refresh. Nope, just the ones that we've already seen. Yeah, this is definitely our strongest drop zone, or not strongest, but it's our most impressive drop zone we've seen on this storm so far, which is measuring potentially, as far as I know, they usually use this number on whether or not to strengthen it. Is the mean wind in the lowest 150 meters. From my experience, they usually lean more to this number than they do anything else to upgrade a tropical storm. Yeah, I can make this a little bit smaller. My head's so darn big. Oof. When is it due to hit? Potentially at around 1 a.m. is around the center of the storm. It's going to make it there. Let me check what our latest models are saying, though, because we do have the latest 18Z. Let's just double check to see if any of the timings changed. Yeah. Landfall right around 1 a.m. Maybe it could be like a tad bit earlier than that. Yeah, you can see right around 1 a.m. on the HWRF. And then, yeah, the HMON is also saying right around 1 a.m. So, yeah, still pretty much on track for a 1 a.m. landfall. And then after it makes landfall, again, since we have some new folks in here, I do want to just show you guys a scenario. Again, honestly, this is more of me just being a little bit paranoid from what happened in Texas. This is like probably one of the only models saying this at the moment. But it is a pretty reliable model. It just sometimes handles these tropical storms a little bit odd. But as you can see, well, actually, okay. This is good news. Our latest update here from the HRRR, it has removed that scenario of the Durham and Cary and Raleigh flash flooding event there. Let me see how that's happened during time here. Is that the... So yeah, this signal popped up. That concerned me. That's what I was going to talk about, but the 0Z just came in, so I checked on it, and that is not there, as you can see. Let me check the 12Z. See if we have any consistency. I mean, the 12Z and the 18Z came in with that, but then the 0Z did away with it. And thank you, Cheryl, for the 20. Thank you so much. I would still keep an eye on it there in Durham and Raleigh just to be safe. I mean, 2 consistent model runs and then one that's just completely different. You know, either one of those could be correct. Typically, as you get closer, it gets a little bit better. I mean, it shouldn't be too big of a flooding event. But even our latest model run does have an area of around 6 inches there near Laurinburg. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's definitely flooding possible. But if we start to get, those numbers like the 18Z were saying, where we're getting like 9, 10 inches of rain over near Durham and Raleigh, that could turn into a life-threatening situation. So I would just keep that, in mind. That is technically possible with the storm. I wouldn't say it's impossible. Texas had terrible flooding. Yeah, and the thing about Texas is that one wasn't modeled out too well either. There was a couple models that did show it. And then the NWS did a pretty darn good job forecasting it. But, the problem was that it just, the warning, just didn't get to everybody in time. It was out there for people to see it, but it's just, you weren't on your TV or you weren't on your phone at the time, which it happened, I think, pretty early in the morning. Then you wouldn't have seen it. All that Texas storm came from that storm that hit Mexico. Yeah, what was that? Barry, right? Yeah, all of that. Unfortunately, all of that that moisture that came in from there. I mean, it was the PWatt values of like 2.3, which is just absolutely ridiculous. By the way, a huge shout out to Fusion again for controlling that camera. Let's go check in on the Fusion view. Where are we looking at, Fusion? You can put it in chat. Or you can just show us. Over there near Surfside Beach. Oh, Myrtle's Inlet. Anybody in chat from Myrtle's Inlet? As you probably recognize this area. Oh, dang. Lisa called RG5 RG4. Just kidding. A lot of them children from camps. Yeah, I did see a new update, unfortunately, on the storm. Not sure. You guys have probably already heard of this. It came out a while ago. But the death toll had increased to 32 4 hours ago. I'm assuming it's probably higher now. That was the last update I saw. I was gardening a little bit in between streams. You heard 43? Okay, yeah. It seems like most people are saying that, so that probably has a decent chance of being true. Let me see if I can get like an independent confirmation of that. I'm sure that's right. That's very, very high number. That's the thing, man. That sucks. It's like, I just can't even imagine. I think apparently there was like one river that rose 28 feet in like 45 minutes. Like, what do you even do? That's literally a tsunami. It's terrifying. Yeah. It was like My Weather Radar, which is a very trustworthy source, says local officials have said the death toll has increased to 43 people. Yep. So that is yeah, including 15 children. Ugh. That's terrible. And apparently the 27 girls from Camp Mystic still could be missing, state officials say. All right, looks like we're getting another pass into maybe some stronger winds here. Not as elevated as that first pass. I really want to see what's happening to the south of here, but they might be just trying to get another measurement of the center of the storm again. So sad for 51 plus per Elijah. Well, the last report came from state officials. Elijah usually does a little bit more digging than that. So he could be more right. He's usually ahead of the ball on those sorts of things, but we'll see. Yeah, 53. Oh, that's okay. So that was from, okay. So yeah, 43 in Kerr County, 4 in Travis County, 3 in Burnett County, and 1 in Kendall County in Texas. Yeah, it could be up to 51 now. That was posted at 7 p.m. That was about an hour ago. Could be higher. And unfortunately, when you get a flooding event that is that impactful, and there's just that many people that we know that were in the path, you have to wait till the flood waters go down. And, you know, typically it's like a creep of information that comes in. So it could be over the next couple of days that we find out that death toll is quite a bit higher than where it even is right now. Because I'm still pretty sure the flood levels haven't completely gone down. So new update at 8:40 CST. Let me see. Oh yeah, there's a new update literally a minute ago from Elijah. Saying that we are now at 52 plus. I think the extra one came from, yeah, Tom Green County. So that's the newest death, unfortunately, reported is from Tom Green County, Texas. It's still raining in those areas, sadly. Yeah. Is it really? I thought they let the flash flood emergency go. Yeah, I mean, all the flash flood emergencies are gone. Which usually means, yeah, as you can see, there is still some storms around that area, though. But these little guys aren't going to do much to rise the water levels that much. Thankfully, you typically need a lot longer spurts of rain, and you can see that they are moving quite a bit there. But yeah, just an absolutely tragic event. Sometimes, you know, that's what, you know, you just got to be on your toes sometimes. I honestly, I think, you know, going into like March in April, you know, typically we have those bigger upper level patterns, right? And I think when that happens, things get a little bit easier to predict. We kind of know generally where things are going to happen, what's going to happen. But when you start getting into June and July, you know, you start getting the flow aloft to weaken. And things become a lot less predictable. I would have everybody that is in areas where severe weather is possible, where flooding is possible, you know, really anything is possible. you don't need to be like super paranoid and scared all the time. Obviously, that's not what I'm telling you to do. But just know that every now and then you might get something that might surprise you. And it's always good to, especially if you're in any of those risks, to have some sort of way to get alerts. But, I understand that the majority of people that are watching are not going to watch weather nonstop. You got a life. I understand. I have a life too, even though I'm weather obsessed. I sometimes miss things myself. Especially for my local area. For some reason, I got local area blindness. I'm always too busy looking at everybody else's weather, never looking at mine. And thank you, Manny, for the 10. Thank you so much for the most base chat you've seen all day. All right, we'll take that. Weather anxiety is real. It certainly is. Vortex data message. Daniel, where could I find that? I've seen people post that before, but I've never been able to figure out where to find that. It's a time lapse of the flooding. Can I show that? Let me see. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I can't show that, but if you guys haven't seen it, this was a time lapse of the flooding, posted by Sean Hendricks. Really just shows you how fast those floodwaters got going. It's absolutely terrifying. It's pretty much it's kind of just like a tsunami is what happened. Oh, it looks like the stream failed. Oh, okay. Looks like we lost our traffic cam operator. Which is okay. We'll see if they come back. Get it from the Tropical Atlantic Recon website. Okay. Let me see if I can find that myself. Okay. And then, like, where would I find that message exactly? Good evening, Cammy. Close. You almost spelled my last name right. That's not bad. Even though it's on the screen. To be fair. We do have another red flag. Uh-oh. Never good to have red flags. It hasn't showed up on Radar Mega yet. Let me see if we have any more drop sounds on this storm yet. Another Atlantic Recon in the last 30 minutes. Okay. Vortex. 9 minutes ago. Air Force Vortex message. Minimum sea level pressure, 105 millibars. Maximum surface wind inbound was 26 knots. That's on the western side of the storm. Maximum surface winds outbound, 58.7. That is SFMR or visually. So they're saying 58.7 miles per hour or 51 knots, but that is based off of the SFMR winds. Usually they don't use that to upgrade the storm. I think they'll probably wait until we get a drop sound. That's usually what they wait for, is the drop sound, which is something that they drop from a plane and actually makes it down to the surface. It's not an estimation. And I don't think we've gotten any new one of those. Let me just check. Any new drop sounds? New drop sound, who it is? Yeah, we do have a new drop sound. And it's saying 30 knots, lowest 150 meters. So that is even further out. The first drop sound was dropped, or the strongest winds that we've seen on the storm from a drop sound is about You know, I think it was like 50 miles per hour, something like that, or 46 knots out of the drop zone. And then they dropped one out over here, and that one just measured 30 knots, or probably around 35 miles per hour, out over there, way outside of where our strongest winds are. It'll be interesting to see where the next drop zone gets dropped and what data we get. But so far, I mean, basically, if you're just now tuning in and wondering what's going on, we've got a plane in the storm right now, and the plane's doing some important data, and we can our important research into what this storm is doing, and this will go into our next update on this storm. So you're pretty much just getting the next update on this hurricane, or sorry, on this tropical storm, before it actually comes out. And what we're seeing is that this storm is still strengthening at a steady pace, and it has most likely at around 50 mile per hour winds, and that main core of winds is probably going to be going into the Myrtle Beach area and the North Myrtle Beach area. That is where we're seeing the strongest winds right now, the most convection, the heaviest rain. Thank you, Sam WX, for being a member for 3 months. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you, Christy, Tom, and Theodore for subscribing. YouTube is not working well for you, but I'm listening from your phone. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry to hear that. Why isn't it called a hurricane? It's too weak, yeah. Once the winds, the sustained winds get up to 74 and above miles per hour, then it becomes a hurricane. Thank you, Sassy, for the $2 donation. Thank you so much. $2 donation for Hannah in Wolf City. Aw, you're so nice. Always looking out for your girl, Hannah. You're back on cams. Wi-Fi went out. Okay. Well, we got you back. We got the cams back. Let's go. Thanks again, Fusion, for that. That is a big help. And sorry your Wi-Fi went out. Thanks for the update. Yeah, no problem. That's why we're here. I think it'll get closer to Maryland. I really don't think this storm's going to be much by the time it gets up there. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, there's going to be some gustier winds, but it's, you know, you're going to be like those severe thunderstorms that came through not too long ago, you know, in the Baltimore area were much stronger than what this storm is going to be once it gets up there. I wouldn't worry about it. Wouldn't be worried. You're the one that gets the cold one planes. Feel like there is a... Oh, wait, what? We ain't scared up here in good old Maryland. Yeah, I wouldn't be. There's a reason why this kind of stops in North Carolina. It's probably going to transition more into a subtropical storm or a post-tropical storm by the time it gets up, you know, the center of the storm gets up to the North Carolina area. Really, the main threats for like South Carolina going into North Carolina is going to be the flooding. With our strongest winds really relegated here just to the coast. You can see there's not a whole lot of areas where it's more than just like the beach and the coastal cities highlighted here, because we're really just not expecting much stronger winds beyond that. Oh yeah, look at that. Bunch of red flags. Look at that. 54 knots flight level. 55 knots flight level. Wow. Did they go higher? Did they go higher up for those winds? Let me check our data. I think those are the most consistent strong winds we have seen. Yeah, that data hasn't come in on the Hurricane Hunter website yet. We're gonna have to wait for that to come in. Once that comes in, we should be able to get an understanding of what the estimation near the surface is. Because yeah, flight level does not necessarily mean surface level. Where will it make landfall? The center of the storm will probably make landfall somewhere in between, somewhere in between like a Wendell and Garden City Beach. But our strongest winds will most likely impact areas like Garden City Beach, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach and Oak Island. The eastern portion of this storm is definitely our strongest portion of our storm at the moment. What do I call fear of clouds? Storming? Like fear of clouds? Like in general? Like just the clouds, no storm? Flying at 15, 70 meters. Yeah, it's still pretty elevated up there. So we'll have to see what the data looks like when it comes in. As far as I could tell, it looks like the surface winds were around 40 knots, the estimated surface winds. I'm not sure if that's current, but I mean, it does show that escalation of the wind speed knots and the surface winds. So yeah, it looks like the estimated surface winds were not as strong there. Really loud thunder in Grand Prairie, Alberta. In Canada? It can mean a couple of things. You know, honestly, I do not care too much for the flight level data. It can be helpful. But you typically, like, let's come over here really quick. Like, it is helpful in terms of what the winds are doing up in that area of the atmosphere. Pretty accurate on that. But you can see on our estimated surface winds, not very strong. Only about 40 knots there. So you can see when we had that spike before, back over a little while ago, as it was going a little bit further north or south than where we just had this plane fly through currently. It had the same kind of elevated wind speeds and knots, but the estimated surface winds were a lot higher. So probably some stronger winds over there. You can see the rain rate was also a lot higher as well. So it looks like the drier the storm is, the less likely those elevated winds are making it down to the surface. Again, you need that precipitation to kind of bring those winds down to the surface. And it seems like the plane, you can see the rain rate drops quite precipitously, in this portion of the storm. And so even though the flight level winds are elevated, those winds are being pushed down as effectively because of the lower rain rate. And you can see the higher the rain rate in this pink line is the rain rate, with the higher flight level winds is more effective of bringing those winds down to the surface, as we have higher surface winds they're associated with that. So that's what's happening there. It's just a little bit of a drier portion of the storm where the plane just flew through. We could probably see that pretty well on radar. Yeah, you can see earlier, a lot more rain. Back over here, a lot drier of a portion of the storm there. So I'm still thinking, like, right back in this corridor here is probably still where our strongest winds are. And we haven't seen the plane fly through this area yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like some 55-mile-per-hour winds in there. Honestly, just given what we're seeing here, it just seems like the more precipitation we see in those storm, the more effective the winds are making it down to the surface. So potentially some 55-mile-per-hour winds already in this storm, but we just might not get a physical measurement of that. It'd be interesting to see where the plane goes next. We can play the radar loop for you guys. If you guys want to see it. Still a destructive severe thunderstorm warning back over here. Oh yeah, they're still keeping it at 80-mile-per-hour winds. Coming down, still making its way towards Channing and Vega, but you guys technically aren't in the warning yet. You do have a camera out over here. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. Hold on. Let me get this big screen. Hold on. We'll replace Pagey for just a wee bit. No offense, Pagey, but we're going to get a little bit distracted. Look at that shelf cloud. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this storm has potentially 80-mile-per-hour winds in it. This is heading towards Amarillo. We're looking at this from what appears to be like a Longhorns maybe training facility. Is this where the Longhorns are? For me, that's just the Longhorn logo. County is that? It's just north and west of Amarillo, Texas, is where this shelf cloud is right now. I think she'd understand. I think she would too. You don't see a view like this very often. Don't worry, we'll go back over to the You know, there's nothing impacting South Carolina and North Carolina right now. So I think we have earned ourselves a good 5 minutes of distraction. Oh yeah, there is a nice little sunset back there. Look at that. Yeah, wow is right. Yeah, this camera is located back over here near Amarillo. And as you can see, there's an 80-mile-per-hour destructive severe thunderstorm coming towards the camera. And that's what this is. That is that destructive severe thunderstorm. I don't think this storm's going to last for very long, though. Hopefully it'll gust out. But that's what I said about 20 minutes ago, and it still hasn't gusted out. So it might last for a little bit. Northwest of Austin has really calmed down in terms of those rainfall rates. So should see the flooded waters hopefully start to go down out there. You had something like that in Baltimore last week? Wow. You got blessed by the weather gods. I would love to see something like this in person. We sometimes get shelf clouds in Alabama, but I don't think I haven't seen a real good one yet this year, unfortunately. I don't know if WeatherWise is adding any more tropical features before things pick up for the season. I have no idea. I was told a big update is coming, but I don't know if that's going to be a quality of life update or what. I don't know if it's going to be models. They haven't told me if it's models or not. So yeah. Back to the 80s on this cam? Oh. Yeah, a little. All right, looks like the shelf cloud is almost passed. We'll come back and check in on this camera. Actually, we'll keep the camera up in the top left. But yeah, the camera's located right here in Vega. We got a gust front potentially coming in. So if we see those winds really start to pick up, we'll come back over to it. But I think the shelf cloud is mostly passed. You can just kind of barely see it a little bit there on the left side. Yeah, this is warned for 80-mile-per-hour winds. I'm expecting it to hopefully gust out before it gets to Amarillo, but just in case it doesn't, I would be, making some plans to prepare for this. Obviously, this was not forecasted for your area at all. You guys are in a marginal risk for severe weather. So this was not forecasted for you guys. So I would just keep your eye on it. I'll let you know. Do we got anybody from Amarillo in chat? Looks like we're about to get another pressure reading from our plane here. So we'll see how far the storm has moved since our initial reading here. That was at 105 UTC. And so we'll be able to take the difference between the two and see how far center has traveled and determine the speed of the storm before our next update, maybe. Really beautiful. It really is. I mean, look at the colors. It's like a painting. And the camera's starting to shake a little bit. I would assume the strongest winds are on the gust front, which are about to come through this camera. They could be back in the stronger rain. You can see there's some lightning on the right side there. That's where the rain is located. That is a beautiful storm. I agree. It's like Bob Ross painted this storm. Is there a tornado watch in Canada? Don't know. I'll check in on it for you. I don't even know if I have Canadian tornado watches on here. Let me see if I can bring them up. If I can, I'll let you know. Maybe weather alerts. Canada. Tornado watch. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a tornado watch in Canada. I just turned them on. I got a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't think there's a tornado watch in Canada, as far as I can tell. Yeah, it's on. And I got all weather alerts on. So yeah, no tornado watch in Canada, thankfully. Yeah, I think the gust front is hitting the camera now. Oh yeah, it's shaking. Doesn't really, it's hard to tell how strong the winds are. We don't have any rain to tell us. And look, those trees are moving too crazy though. The camera's definitely shaking more though. Thank you, Kathleen, Star, and Meowsers for subscribing. Thank you so much. Niagara Falls, Canada here. Welcome. Any warning for Columbia, South Carolina? No. And in fact, I think Columbia is going to miss out on a lot of the storm here. We can check out the latest models, though, to see if you guys might get any rain from this. But I think the strongest winds are going to go to your guys' north. Because as you can see, as this thing makes landfall, it's going to kind of go up to the north and east. So there could still be maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20 mile per hour wind gusts for Columbia. But the strongest winds gusts will most likely be on the eastern side near Lumberton and Whiteville. So not really expecting much for you guys. You guys are going to be on the drier side of the storm, meaning less wind. Yeah, right now, all of our tropical storm warnings are for Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Caroline Forest, Conway, Sunset Beach, Oak Island, Southport, Cure Beach. We're expecting storm surge of around 1 to 2 feet. So the ocean's going to be around 1 to 2 feet higher than it was. I was like, they did extend this severe thunderstorm warning over here, but for 70 miles per hour winds into Amarillo and Canyon. Still a pretty strong storm. We'll keep an eye on it. Definitely some potential there for some power outages, but there is a difference between 70 and 80 miles per hour. That's for sure. Yeah, if you live in Myrtle Beach, just know how many people we got in here from Myrtle Beach in the Wilmington area. You have 3 children near Raleigh. Yeah, just make sure that you're keeping an eye on the rainfall rates out there. Let me tell you when things could get a little bit dicey. You'll either be dry or it'll either rain a lot or you'll be relatively dry. Our latest HWRF model, which is a hurricane model, brings most of our precipitation towards Charlotte, Kannapolis, Concord, Mooresville, Salisbury, Winston-Salem. And so that could cause some flooding up there, especially if these interact with the mountainous regions. That could squeeze out some of our moisture and cause some flooding issues like over here near Statesville and Wilkesboro. But the HRRR model brings this corridor a little bit further up to the north. So kind of a hard flooding forecast to nail down, but it does seem like somebody's going to be getting some sort of flooding for sure. You're near Conway and Myrtle Beach and Loris, South Carolina. All right. Keep watching from Greenville, North Carolina. Well, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, Greenville, I think no, it's not up there. Where is Greenville? I swear I've seen Greenville before. We've covered North Carolina quite a bit, especially during tropical season. Oh yeah. Yeah, Greenville is that area where we get those little spin-ups that come off the ocean. Probably covered a tornado threat for you guys at some point up there. Probably why you got recommended this live stream was from a stream from before. But yeah, for your guys, I think you're going to be more on the drier side of the storm. Still could get some elevated wind, but the storm should be a lot weaker by the time it gets up to you. Hey, thank you, Jackie Johnson, for the $50 donation. Thank you so much. From Myrtle Beach, through most of your family has moved through the years. I still have family memories. Well, welcome. But yeah, over here near Myrtle Beach, we're definitely talking about some pretty strong winds out here. Probably where the strongest core of our winds are going to come into is Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, and Sunset Beach. There, according to our models and according to our flight data so far. Like the new microphone, it's the same. Believe it or not, it's the same microphone. The same Rodecaster Duo. The only thing that's changed is I upgraded from honestly a pretty decent laptop to a very high-end computer. And apparently laptops just do not handle the vocal data that well. This is how it feels if you're a satellite flying over the storm. Whoa. That's how it feels to chew 5 gum right there. You're helping call out that tornado near North Carolina. Yeah. POV, your satellite. Exactly. Love the background music. Thank you. The sound quality is much better. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the whole time I've been streaming with my laptop, like I have the audio monitoring through my audio interface. And in my ears, it sounded so crispy. And I like tuned it to sound perfectly in my ears. I have, you know, what is it called? A preset thing, a VST plugin, which essentially allows you to control the EQ. And I've been working on my audio, you know, changing the bass and the treble and the highs and lows to really make it a little bit more crispy, and, you know, adding in a gate. So there's a little bit of noise cancellation, a little bit of compression here and there. And in my ears, it's always sounds so crispy. Like I got it to such a crispy sound. Like this is years of trying to perfect my mic, but it never sounded like that on stream, and it drove me crazy. And then finally, after switching to this computer, it sounds exactly like it sounds in my ears to you guys. Only took me 3 years to figure that out. All right, looks like we got a new measurement. Oh, wow. Look at this. Our center of pressure is actually wobbled quite a bit to the north and east. You see back over here, this is where it was supposed to be, but it's actually over here. So that literally within the last 20 to 30 minutes, the storm has done something like this. A little bit of a wobble to the east there, which is what we expect. We don't expect the storm to travel in a line. It usually goes back and forth, and it does some wobbles, but it's definitely doing a northeast or an easterly wobble now. Let's see here. It's at 105 UTC. That's at 217 UTC. So about an hour and 10 minutes. We've traveled 14 miles. So the storm's actually speeding up a little bit, I think. That would be, yeah, I think we're around like 10 miles per hour. It was at 7 miles per hour. Now I think we're moving at about 10 miles per hour now, as far as I can tell. New drop sound in the northwest quadrant. Let's check it out. Thanks for posting that in chat, by the way. Let's see here. It's not loaded. Oh yeah, this 40 knots. Wow, it's actually surprising, because that was like pretty close to the that drop zone was dropped like right here. There's potentially 40 knots of wind out over here. Do we have any precipitation out over here? Maybe there's like a little band of thunderstorms. Not really. What about from this radar? Yeah, potentially a little bit stronger winds. Even on the drier portion of our storm, like all the way out here, that doesn't really make sense in my head, but that is what it measured. Can't argue with data. Time is the next advisory. Sometimes they do it hourly. But if they don't, I think we should get an update at 10 p.m. No, we didn't get an update at 10 p.m. So maybe at 11 p.m. Maybe in 35 minutes. We'll see. Sick lightning on that storm. Oh yeah, look at that. Didn't even notice. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning on this. Look at that. It is active. This is the storm that's coming into Amarillo, Texas. Potentially with 70-mile-per-hour winds. Loving that storm right now. Me too. I'm in love with the storm. Storm, will you marry me? Oh my gosh, guys, the storm said yes. We're getting married. Take that, Paige and Bryce. Huge congratulations to them. I haven't said that live on stream yet, but big congratulations to Paigey and Bryce. They got married in front of or they proposed in front of a tornado, which is so cool. Yeah, I know, it was a dumb idea proposing to the storm because the storm will die very soon. My wife gonna die probably within the next 6 hours. Probably wasn't the smartest, but hey, it was good while it lasted. The inheritance. Y'all are sick. What I'm hoping this plane does is that it like goes to the south here and then investigates, or like, you know, even if it goes on the exact same path here, I think. Yeah, if it goes in the exact same path, we will get a measurement of some of our heaviest precipitation, which will probably have the strongest surface winds. Boo. Man, they changed this. What did they do that for? Look at this. You can tell, lost all of its color. We got transported back into the 1950s, and now the storm. All right, we're gonna stop the wife metaphor there, but yeah, that sucks. But yeah, watch out in Amarillo. 70-mile-per-hour winds is coming your way. Where's Paigey? Didn't they end their stream on Radar Omega? No. I think they did. That was the only place I had them. Let me check to see if they maybe went live on YouTube. Maybe. Probably not. I don't know when they're going live. I feel like it should be shortly. I have no idea. Yeah, they haven't even scheduled a stream yet. All right. So I guess we'll just keep it on that camera, even though it's, you know, technically not looking at the storm we're looking at, but hey, you know, little flashes here and there, I guess is, hold on, I gotta put that over here. Hold on. There we go. We still have our traffic cameras, which Forecast Fusion is in control of right now. Yeah, if you go over to radar, you can actually see. So there is kind of our outer wind band here, or our inner wind band, kind of the closest to our storm at least. There's a center of pressure right there. So probably an escalation of winds, Fusion, coming in, about to come into like the Georgetown area. Maybe try getting a camera in Georgetown. Let me see if I have any hotel cameras. We can usually use hotel cameras. They're usually pretty nice. We get like a high definition hotel camera near there. Not that one, this one. Probably get that up as well. That'll be like right on the coast of Georgetown. If we can get it. Might not be up though, we'll see. Another one near Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Yeah, there is a live camera near Pawleys Island, but it's like really dark and not well lit. There's another one in Garden City. The River Cafe. Oh, this one's a good one. Here, well, a tourist cam, which I think we can use. Put that here. Maybe not like that. Hold on. Just do the thing. Thank you. Like that, and then let me get the actual link for this. Be a little bit easier. So having to navigate through OBS like a dingus. All right, there we go. This is from Pawleys Island, and the wind is picking up a little bit. Look at those little things. Are those fronds? What are those called? But this is just north of Georgetown, where some of those rain bands are about to come in, and the Hurricane Hunter plane said that there could be up to 40-mile-per-hour winds about to make it to shore on some of our outer bands, probably within the next hour or so. Yeah, there's like this weird reflection on it for sure. Cassie, are you getting hungry? Hey guys, let me feed my dog real quick. Y'all mind? Forecast. Stay on the traffic cameras, please. I have to make sure that they're cameras we can use. We just can't use just like any camera. I don't want you to get me copyrighted strike. All right. Where was that one camera? All right, let me feed my dog real quick. I'm gonna leave the radar up here for. We'll go weather-wise for that radar, and then I'll put it in motion, and I'll be right back after I feed my dog. It shouldn't really take more than a minute or two. So BRB. Guys, he's all happy and fed. He sounds so cute when he barks. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's come back over to Radar Omega so we can keep track of that plane. Man, they're going way down to the south. Look at that. Interesting. Even got a little bit more precipitation trying to happen over here on this portion of the storm as well. Check back in with our camera. Just want to make sure that it's staying live. Sometimes it gets behind. There we go. Yeah, make sure you're remembering where that water is, because again, we should get 1 to 2 feet of storm surge, so that actually might make it a decent ways up the coast here. Wow, like my YouTube chat just crashed. Let me fix that. There we go. It is back up. Oh man, on our other camera, you see there's a wall of rain coming. That's the storm part of the storm. We've had the gust front come through earlier. We're actually about to start to get to see the storm itself. This is just outside of Amarillo. So much lightning, it's pretty crazy. And thank you, Heather, for subscribing. Thank you so much. I think either eRev or Help can help you out with that, or maybe Blondie. I'm not super aware of how all that works. This guy is angry. I would agree. You know, this might... What are we talking about here? This is supposed to make landfall at 1 p.m. a.m. Eastern. Yeah, it is. That'd be about 12 a.m. my time. We might hang out till then. Definitely got some stronger winds coming in. Once this rain band comes in, that's when some of the winds will start to pick up. That won't be the peak of the winds, I don't think. But I still think our strongest winds are probably back over in our northeastern quadrant of our storm, right in there. Come over to our satellite. You can see this thing is pretty darn close to land. I got raided. By who? Who raided me? And thank you, the odd one, for being a member for 5 months. Thank you so much. Oh, Patrick raided. Awesome. Hopefully his stream went pretty good. Yeah, Patrick from Beyond WX. He was chasing out in Montana today. Hopefully he had a good stream. You got an awesome shelf cloud? Nice. That's awesome. That's about all you can ask for. Nah, no eye is forming in the storm right now, no. No eye. If we come over to our radar, you can see our center of circulation is right there. Right where these little dots are. So that is where an eye would form, somewhere in here, but don't have that right now. But we do have a little bit of convection here, and also a rain band out over on the eastern side, northeastern quadrant of the storm that definitely has some of our strongest winds right now. Right over here in this region. We still haven't gotten a plane, our Hurricane Hunter plane, to fly into that yet, though. So I would still assume that we potentially have up to 70 mile per, or not 70, 60 mile per hour winds in this storm. Somewhere in there. I don't know if those are gusts or if those are, you know, the just winds aloft. But it wouldn't surprise me if we had like at least 55 miles per hour, gusting up to 60. And that'll be coming into the Myrtle Beach area soon. Or not soon, over the next couple of hours. Yeah, the traffic cam, I think our traffic cam watcher must have lost service again. They've been having some Wi-Fi issues. It's still looking drier for Charleston. Yeah, still looking drier. We haven't had any new model runs out in that area though. Our latest model run that we showed you before hasn't changed, so we should have the 0Z come out eventually. I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't come out yet, to be honest. I guess it takes these Hurricane models a little longer than our other models do. Oh, looks like that storm is picking up over here near just north and west of Amarillo, Texas. It's raining sideways. Oh, it just reopened? That's great news. After 5 years, though. Wow, it took them a while to get that back up, didn't it? Sometimes it takes a while to get funding to get a new pier. That's a pretty big project. This is what it looks like over near Garden City. Seems like the water is creeping up a little bit, doesn't it? I feel like it's a little bit closer to the camera than it was before. Those waves out there, my goodness. Make sure we're live. Yeah, so we got behind just a tad bit. Yeah, it's almost to the bottom of this building, those waves. Look at those people down there. There's people. What are they doing over there? That is not smart. There's a person right there on the right side. Right next to those waves. New drops on in the southern wind band. Let me check. Let me check in on that. See what we got going on. One drops on in the max wind band, 37 knots at 105, or 150 meters, 37 knots. And it's a lot drier down there where that plane is right now. So what I'm hoping is that we get it to fly in some of those where some of our stronger convection is at the moment. North Carolina lost 80% of our corn last year to what? That's crazy. If that's true. Oh, to Helene. Yeah, okay, that actually makes sense. Subscribe to Patrick. Yeah, he's a good storm chaser. Very humble person. I really like the humble storm chasers. Those are my favies. This Hurricane Hunter plane will stay into the storm till early morning. Oh, okay. So it'll probably stay into the storm until landfall. As of our latest center of pressure, we are about 45 miles from the coast. So potentially up to 4 hours before landfall. The storm is speeding up a little bit, so it might be a little bit before then. We'll see. Thank you, Stephanie, for subscribing. Thank you so much. How's it going? We are thinking that our storm has intensified a little bit since the last update from the National Hurricane Center. And we're still waiting on an update from them. I do think we should get one, hopefully within the next 14 minutes. Or sometime between 14 minutes and to now. If not, then we might have to wait another hour. Yeah, that's why I really like Storm Hunter Media. They really do, you know, keep it nice, calm, and collected. You can see these little wind bands. Look at how these are wrapping around on the top side of this thing. You see it was a lot drier earlier, but it's definitely moistening up on that like northern side of this storm right now. Really see that starting to wrap around there. Most of our heavy rain is still pretty far off the coast. It's going to be a while before this comes in. The center of circulation will probably make landfall before the max, before, you know, the strongest winds, I think. Storm is trying to build a core. It is definitely organizing more and more. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go compare that to the latest tropical wind field. What is this? Oh, it doesn't say anything. I think that's the, I don't think that's the tropical storm force. I guess it is a tropical storm force wind field. I mean, according to our latest update, it hasn't really expanded that much, to be honest. Or we don't know if it's expanded yet, because it definitely some stronger winds down there, though, for sure. But I would assume not a lot of those are making it down to the surface, since those are flight level winds. You know, it's taking a back seat on Storm Hunter Media. Yeah, I know. It is sad. Thank you for keeping me calm. I typically have weather anxiety, which... Oh, okay. Please keep your eye out for your friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Storm Hunter Media, they're really good chasers. And, you know, I think Garrett's still going to be chasing. But to see DL take a back seat is a little bit sad. But, you know, I talked to him, and I think just by talking to him, I think he made the right decision. So... Texas flooding is so sad. Yeah, it is. I agree. Dryer is definitely keeping Chantal in check. It certainly is. Although I will say, I do think that we haven't had the plane fly through our strongest winds yet. But I definitely, just by what we've seen, it's definitely, I think, enough to upgrade this to a 50-mile-per-hour wind tropical storm. And we should be getting that update here shortly. Oh, just came in. Breaking news. Okay, never mind. We'll do it on this screen. Let me minimize this. Look at this. Breaking news. Minimum pressure is now down to 1,004 millibars and 50-mile-per-hour winds. So we are now at 50-mile-per-hour max sustained winds right now. See if you have any new information. Other than that, nope, that is it. Just a little bit of an update there. Look at the peak surge. Yeah, that hasn't changed. Potential rainfall hasn't really changed. Everything's still about the same here. Forecast cone. Yeah, we haven't got a new update on the forecast cone either. So yeah, that's pretty much our main update there, is that we are now officially at a 50-mile-per-hour wind, tropical storm now. Why is he stepping back? That's not for me to say. He's been making statements about it on his personal channel. And I'm sure he'll make more posts about it, and I'm sure they'll talk about it more. But that's not for me to say. I mean, that's for him to communicate. Yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of a decent little rain band about to come into shore here. It's just a couple miles off of shore. About to come into like Quarantine, Danny Corner, Clam Bank, and De Bordeaux. I think that's how you say that. Our camera in this area is near Pawnee Island. And there is a little bit of a storm over there. This is that camera. As you can see, it's a little bit windy. And storm surge is creeping up. Yeah, nomad life can be pretty intense. Honestly, just the grind in general can be particularly intense. I did tell DL, though, if he ever wants to come help out on my stream, he totally can. Hey, that person I think is still out there. Yeah, look. Man, look at those waves crashing onto that pier there. What is that person doing? Y'all think that's a storm chaser or just some random onlooker? Time is landfall, probably around 1 p.m. 1 a.m., sorry, tomorrow morning. And that'll be Eastern time, I think. I think you Revelation and Myrtle and Rex for subscribing. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely some decent waves up here for sure. I'm gonna say it. It'll 100% be a tropical storm as it makes landfall. Storm's probably close to its max intensity. I wouldn't be surprised though if there were some like 55-mile-per-hour winds on the right side quadrant that we just haven't seen measured yet by the hurricane hunter. You're a Myrtle Beach native? Yeah, I think Myrtle Beach is going to be getting impacted by probably some of the strongest winds of this storm. This is definitely where our strongest winds are located right now, and you can see that's if I put this radar in motion, that it's going to be pretty much going directly into Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach area. Definitely some of our heaviest rain, probably some of our biggest impacts from this storm will be coming into Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. Our core of the storm, though, is probably going to make landfall here in Georgetown, somewhere near Georgetown. Oh, one thing I forgot to check is if that speed increased. Yeah, they did increase the speed to 8 miles per hour to the north. So, still moving kind of slow. Yeah, I can't even imagine what life is going to be like 20 years in the future. With AI and all that other stuff, can't even imagine. Is YouTube even going to be a thing anymore? Am I even going to still be working this job, or will an AI have taken over all weather forecasting for YouTube? Who knows? Will the Earth even be habitable in 20 years? New NHC discussion and cone. Ooh. Do a refresh. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go check that out. Let me put this down. Perfect. So we got a new cone. Who dis? And you can see actually the tropical storm force winds might already be hitting the coast. According to our latest data, the wind field, they're saying is just off of the coast, if not over the coast right now. Here's our latest discussion. Strong convection continues to persist in the south or the northeastern quadrant of Chantal, with the center located on the southwestern edge of the burst. This convection has been causing a gradual increase in organization of the storm, with the Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft recently reporting 850 millibar flight winds of 57 knots, which equate to about 45 knots at the surface. This data is also close to derived velocity data from Wilmington, showing a peak 8,000 winds of about 55 knots. The current intensity is set to 45 knots in agreement with these values. Current motion estimate is okay. And Chantal could turn to the northwest before landfall due to a narrow mid-level ridge, and a turn to the northeast expected later on Sunday as Chantal becomes more embedded with a low to mid-level flow from the west side of the ridge. There is little time left for intensification, and Chantal should make landfall within the next 6 hours at about the present intensity. So they're not really expecting this thing to strengthen, and I agree with that. Once this thing starts interacting with land, it'll probably weaken pretty quickly. Steady weakening will occur after landfall with loss of the warm water heat source, and Chantal is expected to dissipate over eastern North Carolina by early Monday. Track forecast was nudged to the east. Little change to the intensity forecast. Chantal expected to remain asymmetric with its strongest winds and rainfall to the right of the landfall location. Key messages: tropical storm conditions are expected in the warning area beginning soon and continuing through Sunday morning. Heavy rainfall across portions of North Carolina will cause flash flooding concerns through Monday, especially in the urban areas. Chantal is expected to bring life-threatening surf and rip currents along the coast from northern or northeastern Florida to the mid-Atlantic states during the next day or so. Beachgoers should heed the advice of lifeguards and local officials. There you go. As the latest information on our storm, tropical storm Chantal. Is anybody? How's everybody been pronouncing it? Is it Chantal? 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 There you go. I like that one. The French way? What's the French way? I'm helping you with gas money. You're living in your car. I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, guys, look at this. 10 more subs until we're back up to 80,000 or 81,000. We hit 81,000 about 2 weeks ago, and then my voice started going into the crapper, and we lost about 120 subs from being inactive, and now we're almost back there. How did I lose so many? I don't know. I think it's like bots getting banned off of YouTube. I don't know. Don't make sense to me. Maybe people just, you know, they get mad that I didn't make a video because of my voice. I don't know how it works. All I know is that the people do unsubscribe when I don't post. It happens every day. It's like usually like 10 to 15 subs. I'm used to it. It's no big deal. I don't take it personally, to be honest. Hey, there we go. We're back at it. 81,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Is 80,000 subs enough to do it full time? It is, but there is still a lot of anxiety. I am not rich by any means, but honestly, that is of my own volition, to be honest. I could be rich. Richer, at least. Could have sponsors. Sponsors could add like $3,000 to $4,000 a month to my pocket. More than I'm already making. We could have tons of sponsors. Maybe you could make even more money than that. We could sell merch. Maybe make like $1,000 per month in merch. But I don't do sponsors and I don't do merch. So I guess I'm forcing myself to be poor. I just don't want to bombard you guys with ads and merch. Why not? I just think it's stupid. I don't like merch. And I've been saying this to myself. If I do ever sell you guys anything, it's going to be something that's helpful, not just some like random overpriced t-shirt. Everyone else does. What difference does it make? I just don't. It's not something I believe in. It's a personal thing. And I like a lot of people sell merch with like their channel name on it and stuff, and they're basically just turning you into a billboard. So, if I were to sell something, it would be something that would be helpful. Snow meter stakes. To be honest, that's not a bad idea, but yeah, that's like a lot of production stuff, a lot of production costs that I just do not have. It would have to be like, that's the thing. Like I'm not gonna say I'm broke, but I'm definitely not middle class or even close to middle class. I'm still considered poor, I think. So, like I really don't have any money to like do any other bigger projects than what we're already doing on the channel right now. So Evan's rain gauge. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you have to make a mass purchase of that kind of stuff, and I just don't have enough money to make an investment like that. So. Poverty gang. Kind of looks like a bow echo. It kind of does. Yeah, it does. This is that main rain band on the northern side of this. And yeah, you know, I think our strongest winds are like somewhere in this area right now. Probably that's where our 50-mile-per-hour winds and potentially up to 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Holy ravioli, Jackie Johnston. Oh wait, hold on. What? I totally forgot to do the voice.
Holy moly, Jackie Johnson with the $200 donation. Thank you so much. We're supposed to do that for every $10 donation, but thank you so much. It is donations from the public that keep this channel going, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Not poor anymore. Still, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, YouTube's probably going to take like 30% of that, but yeah, that is going to be a huge help. Thank you. It has been an extremely slow month so far, so that does go a very long way and help fund the channel. That's a fascinating voice. It is. Somebody said it's terrifying. I like it. All right, let's come back over to our... Whoops, I did not mean to press that. Oh, that's pretty cool, though. We'd be like, sir, get off of the southernmost point. Remember when we look at those cameras in the southernmost point? You can use the megaphone to like shout at people. Like this person, if he's still there. Yep. Excuse me, sir, would you mind stepping away from the storm surge? Hello, sir? Can you hear me? Please step away from the beach and get into indoors. I don't think he heard me. There's still a guy out there, and the water's getting even closer. All it takes is one rogue wave, and that dude is swimming.
Thank you, Daniel, for the $20 donation. Daniel says, thank you for all your service, dedication, and education you provide your entire community. Well, thank you, Daniel. That's very, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we're supposed to do that for every $10 and up donation. I forgot I made that promise. It's fun. It kind of breaks the... It's really good at breaking the seriousness of the situation and kind of resetting everybody. Oh, look, our plane's turning around. You know, it's surprising just how strong the winds are on the southern side. But I think our plane is pretty high up in the atmosphere right now. So it's probably not getting, you know, the winds that are near the surface with these measurements because it's so dry. And y'all gonna make this voice get annoying now.
Thank you, Wendy, for gifting 10 memberships to the channel. If you guys get a gifted membership, make sure that you are thanking Wendy, or Chaz is gonna come onto your front lawn and take a poop. Take a big old poop.
So make sure you're thanking her in the chat. Thank you so much, Wendy. That the helium voice? It is. I just thought it would be funny to say big old poop with that voice. That's what happens if you don't think when you get a membership. A free membership, you're not going to say thank you. It deserves consequences. Is that a passenger plane? No, this is the National Hurricane Center plane, the Hurricane Hunters, and they are flying into storm to check out to see what the winds are. And so we're about to have a pass, hopefully, into this portion of the storm. This is what I really want to see back over here. I'm sure they'll eventually do that. Thank you. Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
Thank you so much, Harley Munchie, for the $20 donation. She says, you are amazing. Thank you. I don't agree with that personally. I think that I'm just terrible. Absolutely terrible. But thank you. I appreciate it.
I almost wanted to do like a whole forecast video with that voice. We got an update on the storm from the National Hurricane Center. Yeah, we just went over everything in that update. Our storm has been upgraded to a 50-mile-per-hour wind. 50-mile-per-hour winds, 104 millibars. So the millibars has dropped 2 millibars since the last time. Storm is now moving at 8 miles per hour, so it's speeding up a little bit. And the National Hurricane Center said they don't expect the storm to strengthen further any more from this point. Thank you, Brittany, for subscribing as well. Thank you so much. No, don't do that. Storm is trying to wrap up right now. Yeah, you can definitely tell it is trying to wrap around on that northern side a little bit more. Definitely getting a little bit more precipitation. Not as dry as it was. But you know, it literally doesn't have much time left before it starts to interact with land. Once this little band starts to interact with land, you know, we're not going to see it weaken per se, because our strongest winds will still be in this area. But yeah, I mean, it's going to pack a little bit of a punch for probably, I wonder if we're starting to get any power outages yet. Let me check on that. Yeah, we got about 700 people without power in South Carolina, and that's near the coast. So that's probably due to the storm. North Carolina has about 600 people without power. But that's not near the coast. That might not be due to the storm. But power outages are starting. This camera. I think that person is still there. They're just having the time of their life, I guess. I guess if you're going to be standing out near the beach during a tropical storm or a tropical-like storm, right? You know, better it not be a hurricane and have it be a tropical storm. And, you know, to be fair, this is a mid-grade tropical storm. This isn't a strong tropical storm yet. So it's not overly dangerous unless a rogue wave comes. So, you know, I feel way more nervous, I guess is what I'm saying, if this was like a hurricane. And we saw that person standing next on the beach this close to landfall. No, it's definitely there. That's definitely a person. You can see them like move around left and right at times. See, they got a little camera light. See how they're moving around just above that sign. See how they're walking now to the right? Definitely a person. They're actually in the water right now. That's stupid. Who is that? Well, let me make sure we're recent here. Yeah, this is live. It's not a reflection. That's a person. You can tell it's a person. Look, they just turned on their phone light. See? Man, those waves back there are pretty big. Those are some chonka waves. Waves got height. He might be watching us. He could be. Yeah, it could be like a journalist. Probably, if I were to assume, it'd probably be like a storm chaser or something. There is water out there. Yeah, I swear the water is creeping up a little bit more. It is definitely closer to the shore than it was like 30 minutes ago. Wonder if it's Motley. I don't think so. Did he say I didn't see his response when I told him to go down there. Did he say he was going down there? I know we have Pagey out there, but they stopped going live on Radar Mega. So we can't really watch them right now. Plug in this dang USB thing. There we go. That work? There we go. He's headed there 5 hours ago. Is he really? Is he live? Because that's a storm chaser we could use. Let me see if he's activated a live stream or not. Where's Surfside Beach? There's a pretty cool camera near Surfside Beach. Is that near where we're watching? Let me see where Surfside Beach is. South Carolina? That's like right there. I want that cam. Hold on. I got another camera for us. It's a pretty cool camera too. We will put that, let's see. Put it right here. Was that a firework? I swear I just saw a firework on that camera. Hold on. This is in Surfside Beach in South Carolina. See the waves there pretty well. It's on the pier, Surfside Pier. Yeah, those winds are just off of the coast. They're not quite here yet. They're still, I would say our strongest winds are still just off the coast. Probably about 8 miles there, where our winds will certainly start to pick up a little bit. It looks like our plane is about to come back into the storm here. It's getting close. Hopefully it turns north. You're in Myrtle with your family on the other side of the beachfront road in the ground level Airbnb. Well, as long as you say you're beachside, I would definitely keep an eye on it. You know, 1 to 2 feet of storm surge is possible. I would definitely keep your eye on those, you know, the ocean levels for sure. Yeah, 50-mile-per-hour winds sustained. Could be gusting up to 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe even 65-mile-per-hour winds, mainly in this right quadrant core of the storm. What happened to that other guy? I mean, he's still an option. We just haven't really had to go live for long. You're talking about Connor. He helps out a lot when we have to go live for a very long time. He'll be very helpful for hurricane season. What's it gonna do? Oh yeah, moderate motley. Yeah, moderate motley's not live. Pagey tornado is not live yet. I don't know when they're going. Oh, they got it scheduled for 3:30 a.m. Yikes. I don't know about all that. I don't think we're gonna be up that late. You guys could possibly do even a 36-hour stream. Yeah, we could. We definitely could. Like if it was like a big time hurricane, we could do very long streams and just cover the storm pretty much forever. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, there's people fishing. This camera, look at that. People fishing in a tropical storm. What the heck? How late am I gonna be live? I'm not sure if I'm gonna be here for like the landfall of the actual center of pressure, because again, that's not where the strongest winds are gonna be. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a point where I draw the line. I was gonna go live. I was gonna stay live until like 3 or 4 a.m. If this thing like reached like 60 or 65 miles per hour. But 50-mile-per-hour winds, you know, that's not that intense. Like that's kind of, I mean, it'll definitely cause some power outages. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be pretty spotty. I just, you know, it's just kind of not the kind of storm that I would stay up until like 4 o'clock a.m. for. But if it was like a, you know, 60-mile-per-hour winds and above, I'd probably stay up. Because we probably get some very widespread power outages with that kind of storm, and, you know, some storm surge of like 2 to 3 feet, maybe even 4 feet. And that would, you know, definitely cause some decent impacts. I mean, 1 to 2 storm surge is honestly, it's like, as we can see here, I mean, it's definitely coming close to some of these beachside buildings, but as of right now, I mean, it's just a big waves, dangerous rip currents, but you know, no one's gonna be out in the, hopefully no one's swimming out there. Best time to fish, really? I think my voice should be healed by now, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, the wind hasn't started yet. We'll definitely be here when it starts, but that is true. Mother Nature does that to me quite a bit. Let's come back over here and see where our airplane is. Let's do a little refresh on the app. Yeah, And it's still just south of some of our strongest winds. It hasn't turned back into the storm yet. I'm expecting it to turn to the left here by our next update and have it come through this core of the wind and rain back over here. But in terms of like immediate impacts, the stronger wind should be located in slowly pushing into Georgetown. Let me pull up our METAR data and see what we're measuring out there. Yeah, it seems like winds are picking up around 16 miles per hour here near Georgetown, 26 mile per hour wind gusts near Myrtle Beach, 13 mile per hour winds, 23 mile per hour wind gust in North Myrtle Beach, gusting almost to 30 miles per hour. Probably, it's pretty much where our strongest winds are at the moment. It's right here in this little corridor here. What happens is that this is Radar Omega. We're using this to track the plane, but I really do like the way that the radar looks on weather-wise. It's also more consistent. As you can see, we are expecting this storm to make landfall here near Georgetown and Pawleys Island. Could make landfall. I mean, if it does wobble, it could make landfall a little bit further north or a little bit further south. But again, the strongest winds are going to be over here in this quadrant. Why would people be fishing? I don't know. Must be some good fishing out there. Maybe the storm's bringing in some fish. To be fair, people fish during severe thunderstorm warnings. Some fishermen just don't care. And the winds right now are not that strong. Honestly, I'd even fish in this weather. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like this pier is going to wash away or anything. So, but you'll probably see him clear out. Oh, yeah, there's still a person there. Look at him. How cool would that be if he caught like a big old fish live? Oh, that lone person. Let me see. I think that was on. Is it this camera? No, it's this camera. Not seeing them. Hopefully they left. Yeah, you can definitely tell the water's getting closer to the camera. This is near Garden City. Both of the cameras are near Garden City. In fact, I think that one camera is actually on that, might be on that pier over there. Or maybe there's another pier closer by. Yeah, apparently, Mark, that might be as high as 52. Yeah, like fishermen, it's hit or miss with fishermen. Some of them are, you know, they were respectful with the severe weather, but some of them are like surfers and they'll just fish no matter what. Still some lightning going on this camera in Texas. When is high tide? I think we can investigate that on Radar Omega. It's in marine tools. Yeah, tide forecast. Yeah, it seems like most of the area, thankfully, is in low tide right now. But yeah, I mean, by the time the storm surge pulls up, we might be in high tide or close to it. By around like 4 a.m. Storm surge really won't get started. Really won't get, you know, its strongest until, you know, we start to get those stronger winds move over the area. So be like right around in this sector of the storm. As of right now, most of the coast is in low tide. When is landfall expected? It's expected to occur at around 1 a.m. I think that's Eastern time. Not sure. It might be Central time though. Oh wow, our plane's going all the way out over here. That's interesting. I wonder if the plane's gonna come like up to here and then turn back into the storm. They're like a really wide approach. I wonder if he's just measuring the shear out in this area. We'll be able to tell by looking at how high up he is in the air. Yeah, he definitely got a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. He's at about 1,600 meters right now. It might be measuring the mid-level winds right now to see, you know, what winds are kind of pulling into the storm right now. Oh my goodness, look at this. That's a water spout. That's most likely a water spout right there. We actually do have a couple of areas of rotation on these storms that are forming out over here. As we'll eventually move into like Sunset Beach. When do I think the strongest winds will hit land? They'll definitely start to increase here within the next hour. The strongest winds, though, I do believe are going to be in this corridor of the storm. And that probably won't be until about 3 to 4 a.m. there for like the Myrtle Beach area. Arlene, thank you, or Helen, sorry, for tuning in. And get you some sleep. You live in Garden City. The camera is in Surfside, next town north. Okay. Surfside. Oh yeah, it's like just a tad bit north there. Okay. So yeah, this other one is near like Garden City Beach. And the other one's near Surfside Beach. So our cameras are kind of located back over here. I could find one like over here near Quarantine, but this is a pretty unpopulated area here. So we probably won't be able to find a camera near the landfall. Could central South Carolina get tornadoes? No. No, not the only area where I'm worried about a tornado threat right now is just on the immediate coastline, like back over here. And in fact, we do have a little tornado risk right now, according to our outlooks. I don't think it's going to go this far west, but I do think areas like, you know, like to the east of our where our center of circulation goes through, we'll have that tornado chance. We have a 2% tornado chance here for Conway, Carolina Fortis, Garden City Beach, Boiling Springs, Southport, and Wilmington, which would come from storms like this that are exhibiting some rotation. They'll spin up water spouts off of the coast. We actually got 4 areas of circulation out here. They would spin out over here and then eventually make it into land as a tornado. Y'all getting sleepy yet? Yeah, I heard about that big kahuna. Not sleepy yet. There you go. You got the late night warriors in chat. Mandy's getting sleepy. Uh-oh. Let's see how it's going back. Oh, the wind's definitely picking up here. Look at this. It seems like the wind's getting a little bit stronger. Look at this little, and we're getting some rain here as well. Those little, I don't know what kind of grass that is, but they're definitely shaking a little bit more. You are getting asleep? Not sleepy? You're not sleepy? Nope, nope, okay. It's around this time that I am usually taking melatonin and about to go to sleep. So I'm feeling a little sleepy myself. But I'm hanging in there. I can push it. No big deal. I just really want to see like what this plane is showing on this portion of the storm back over here. That's what I'm really staying up for, because I really do feel like these could be some of our strongest winds in the storm. Like right back in this corridor. We've had a couple of measurements in there, and that's why we got an upgrade to 50-mile-per-hour winds. And thank you, Reed's Weather Coverage, for subscribing. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I did say that, Lynx, but that was somebody's username. You are drinking Mountain Dew to stay awake? Yeah, I have Coca-Cola that I was gonna drink, but I'm debating on whether or not I'm gonna stay up super late tonight because the storm is really not that strong. I was thinking it could maybe get up to 60 mile per hour to 65 mile per hour winds, which it might be at, but we just haven't had the plane go through the right area yet. Man, definitely a decent little couplet there. Not a water wedge yet, but that most likely is a water spout there. You're doing an all-nighter. Jeez Louise. You must not have anything to do tomorrow. Have a storybook voice? What does that mean? Once upon a time. Yeah, I can see that. In a land far, far away, there was a wee little baby storm approaching the South Carolina and North Carolina coast. You're ready for an all-nighter? Dang, y'all are pulling all-nighters tonight. That's crazy. I can't do that. I'm too old to do an all-nighter. I am 31 years old. I used to be able to do it, but that was before I realized just how much it affects my health. Like when I was younger, I could do an all-nighter, wake up the next, or not even go to, well, technically not wake up, right? You know, it's doing an all-nighter. And I could do an all-nighter, go to school the next day, and then really no big deal. But now that I'm 31, if I do an all-nighter, it like, the next day, it's like I'm hungover. Hungover and zero energy. I start feeling my heart having palpitations. I feel like that's a no-go for me. I just do not have, I used to be able to do it, but I'm just getting too old. Let me make sure this is current here. Perfect. I always check on that. There we go. You're 52 and you do all-nighters no problem? No way. That's crazy. I appreciate that, Motley. Hey, Motley, are you... Some people in chat were saying you were going down to chase the storm. Oh, yeah, the waves. Yeah. Yeah, on this camera, that's where the biggest waves are. And you can see them crashing onto the pier when it comes into this... comes into the to the pier there. Stay up all night, no issues. Jeez, how do y'all go do that? I cannot do that. Used to low sleep. I guess I'm just a baby. My brain. Well, to be fair, I will say, I do be thinking a lot every single day, like a lot. And so I feel like my brain gets tired pretty fast because I usually be thinking and plotting. What's the next name after Chantal? That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't memorized them yet. Let me check. Hurricane names 2025. Dexter. Dexter sounds like it could be something. Isn't there like a serial killer show called Dexter? Maybe that's going to be a bad storm. my gosh, it's so trippy. My dog is like barking to the beat. Or he was for a second. All right, looks like our first little stronger wind band is probably making it in to the shore, or it's just off of the shore here of quarantine. Also seems like there could be some stronger winds about to pull up into like the Southport area, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. It's pretty close to the radar though. Let's go see where our plane is, and then we'll go check out our latest satellite view. Man, where is the plane? Is the plane done? Oh, we also got a special marine statement on this, decent little area of rotation. It's probably for water spouts. Yeah, water spouts and wind gusts to nearly 50 knots. Wow. So yeah, we got a special weather statement on this guy, and it is going to be going into shore eventually. Who knows if it actually keeps that intensity all the way up to the shore, but. Yeah, Dexter. Yep. Water spouts in the dark. Hey, we've caught them before. We caught a EF3 land spout to tornado at Panama City Beach. It was like chucking chairs, and actually it was a pretty damaging storm after it went into land a little bit further. But when we intercepted it on the beach, I mean, it hit our camera directly, and it was like throwing chairs around. It was crazy. When you view the thumbnail for this on your PC, it turned into a static-filled mess. Really? Is anybody else having a problem with the thumbnail? Hopefully not. Should have gotten a screenshot. That would have been helpful. On your phone? All right, thank you. So, where's everybody at, by the way? That's in chat right now. Curious. Do I like EF5 tornadoes? What kind of question is that? Of course not. Maine, Atlanta, Georgia, South Cali. We got Myrtle Beachians in chat. Vermont, North Florida, coastal Virginia. Watching from Indiana, Illinois. What are you guys doing here? Not coming towards you. I'm just kidding. Fairmont, North Carolina. Lake Marion, South Carolina. All right. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Greensboro. Now watch out. Y'all could get some flooding up there in Greensboro. We got a lot of people from the North and South Carolina in chat. That's good. Watching from New Jersey. Well, welcome. Yeah, it's pretty, honestly, it's pretty early first. I wonder if this is like one of the earliest tropical storm landfalls. Like we are usually covering like South and North Carolina landfalls like in like August and September. I just realized how early this is. You just liked my channel? Oh, you say you just like my channel. Oh, I appreciate that, William. Thank you. Garden City Beach, South Carolina. Okay, so you're like, you must recognize this area, because this is Garden City Beach. Now, what's everybody's winds at right now? Everybody report what winds you are feeling. I don't think we should be getting any elevated wind reports, though. Should just be rainy for now. This is a tropical storm. Zero miles per hour. Well, that's good. Level-headed. I appreciate that. I really do try to keep it nice, calm, and collective. I don't want to freak you guys out. Even when things are like going crazy, I still try to lean more towards the calm side of things. You're on your couch watching you. Well, Charlene, if you feel any wind, I feel bad for your nostrils. Thank you, Willows, Alan, Austin, and Kevin for subscribing. 1 mile per hour. Jeez Louise. Hang on, Mandy. I want you to fly away. 56 miles per hour. Where are you at, Leslie? Is there another person out there? Yep, we got a new person. New person alert. I see him. I can report a new person has arrived onto the beach. Petoskey, Michigan. Welcome, welcome. 5 miles per hour, 12 miles per hour. All right. This is a little bit further up to the north here. None of our cameras are shaking yet, so I really don't think the wind has quite arrived just yet, but it should be slowly picking up. Let's go check in on our latest METAR data. Okay. It kind of looks like this plane might be, is it going to refuel? Is it done? Let me check. Oh, it says in storm still, so it doesn't say finished. It is not investigating the storm right now. It is, yeah. All right, let's go check out our latest wind gusts out there for everybody. Wind speed. Do we have any new updates there? We do. Look at this. Over in Georgetown, 21 mile per hour sustained. 24 mile per hour wind gusts, so nothing too crazy there. Near Myrtle Beach, 23 mile per hour wind gusts. Yeah, we haven't gotten new updates on this one, but this one over here near Georgetown is updated. That's the highest sustained winds we've seen so far. So it hasn't quite picked up again or yet. But again, our strongest winds are going to be back over in this area of the storm where we see all these reds and yellows. That's where our heaviest precipitation is and our strongest winds will be located. So they're still off of the coast. I can't tell if that plane's done or what. That pilot drunk? No, hopefully not. I don't think so. I don't think it's advised to fly drunk. I think. I don't know. I'm not I don't know what the rules are on that, but I would assume it's advised against. Time is the landfall. They say 1 a.m. is going to be the landfall. 1 a.m. Eastern, which should be in like an hour and 15 minutes. It should be getting pretty close to landfall. Our last pressure reading was back over here. If I would assume it would be like somewhere in here now. I would assume flying drunk is not as dangerous as driving drunk though. But I don't really know. Never tried it. Never flown a plane before. Unless it has autopilot. Oh, yeah. You can't fly drunk unless the co-pilot is completely sober. I think that's the rule. Interesting. You learn something new every day, I guess. Is there autopilot? Yeah. I guarantee you there's somebody out there right now that has no idea still that this storm is coming, believe it or not. Someone's going to wake up tomorrow morning just expecting, you know, they looked at the forecast, said a little bit of rain. Oh, I mean, if they didn't know it's coming, then they didn't even look at the forecast. So they probably have no idea what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. And they're probably just got back home from the bar, super drunk. Going to wake up tomorrow with like a hangover, open the door and just get smacked in the face with some rain and wind. Somebody out there is going to do that. It might surprise you because you guys are weather aware, but there are people out there that just don't even know that there's some people out there that probably don't even know that this storm exists right now. All right, Lynx. Well, you have a good rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know. On Radar Omega, our plane is well, like, it looks like it's going towards the shore. So maybe it's gonna refuel and come back out. I don't know. Not exactly sure. Until it affects Southport. You see where Southport is. What state is that in? You kind of like the name Chantal? Yeah, it's not a bad name. I like it too. I can agree on that. That way, so that would make the most sense. Okay. North Carolina. It's not popping up for me. Below Fort Fisher. It's like over here. Oh, I see it now. I don't know why that didn't. Oh, it's because I put a space there. I mean, you guys are getting rain right now, and that is from the tropical system. Looks like the strongest wind gust so far in your area is 21 miles per hour. Probably won't see that get stronger until a little bit later. These little winds out over here will eventually be slung pretty darn close to you. If that happens, you'll probably get pretty close to, you know, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. That'll probably be your biggest impact, maybe even higher than that. Let me see if we have our latest hurricane models yet. We still don't. I really thought they'd be out by now. We're still at the 18Z. I mean, according to our latest model runs, everything goes to your south, but it kind of seems like it might not. This is kind of extending out pretty far to the north, but it could very well. The strongest precipitation could go to your south, but you still could get up to like 40 mile per hour wind gusts, even if that goes to your south. But that probably won't be until later. I would give it probably like when you wake up tomorrow morning, depending on when you go to sleep. Yeah, as of right now, we don't have any flash flood warnings at the moment, thankfully, but I would expect to see some eventually. Let's go to look. We haven't looked at the storm in a while on satellite. Let's go check that out. Man, it's still healthy. Still a healthy storm. About to push into shore here. There's an Air Force base in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Might be heading that direction to refuel. I mean, that makes sense to me. Somebody came into chat earlier and said it was going to be out all night. Into the early morning, but that doesn't seem to be the case. You can see you on that map? Nice. Can you see your house from here? All right, let me see something here. gonna see if that little area of rotation is still there. Nah, not there anymore. It's still kind of there. It probably doesn't have a water spout on it anymore, though. Definitely seems like it kind of died off there, but I think it's still worth keeping an eye on that. That's funny, Mandy. I'd imagine it's somewhat difficult in-flight refueling in a tropical storm, I'd say. It'd be quite the accomplishment, though, if they could pull that off. Not gonna lie. Is that person still out here? They're not. Seems like the storm surge really hasn't increased, though, in a while here. But we're still not in the core of the winds in this area yet. You can definitely see that there is some wind, but still pretty weak at the moment. I'm curious, have we gotten any more power outages? I doubt it, but check on it. Yeah, we haven't gotten any more power outages yet, so. Nice beach. Heck yeah, man. Y'all been having some straight up beach weather up here. It's been toasty. You don't get any friggin' snow during the winter anymore, and now you get just tons of warmth during the summer. Uh-oh. Got more people. Is making landfall? Not yet. It's getting close, though. We're pretty close to it making landfall. Probably within the next couple of hours. Yeah, high tide is at 4 a.m. Yeah, that'll probably be when the storm surge is the worst for sure. Really good gusts at Garden City Beach. Yeah, I mean, you can see it on this camera every now and then. These little, I don't even know what kind of plants those are, but they've been giving us an indication of the wind. Another thing forming in the Gulf? No. Although I do expect eventually to see another storm. That's kind of how hurricane season goes, but there is nothing else on, at least on my radar, for anything to form anytime soon after this storm. Might get something form off the shore, then maybe move off to the east. Yeah, there's nothing in the short term. There's a tiny little signal for the Gulf of Mexico formation, but that's 300 hours from now. So if you see anybody talking about that, they're a bunch of crazies. Thank you, Noah, Semrin, and Troy for subscribing. Thank you so much. You're here at Myrtle? Yeah. Winds are still pretty far off the shore from Myrtle. It's the strongest winds. The winds will slowly be increasing, though. Oops. Yeah, bring this up. Myrtle Beach, your strongest wind gust so far is 23-mile-per-hour winds, which is really not that strong. Those should slowly increase. Your strongest winds are going to be associated with this thunderstorm activity, though. So, still got a pretty long time for the strongest winds. I would say a couple of hours still. Oh, look, our plane is circling. Is there not always a signal in the Gulf like 300 hours out? Usually so, yeah. It can range anything from a weak tropical storm to an apocalypse hurricane. That's why, the folks on YouTube that post all those hype videos, they get so much money because every single hype hurricane that the GFS shows, they latch onto, make a thumbnail about it, and freak everybody out. And then what happens? It doesn't happen. Or is the center of the storm now? Hopefully so. Yeah, I would assume the wind will pick up a little bit as this part of the storm comes into like Myrtle Beach. Which it's moving there. It's moving towards the shore pretty quickly, but it does seem to be losing some intensity. But really, as we're in this portion of the storm, the stronger the rain gets, the higher the likelihood you're probably going to get a little bit stronger wind with it, because we're around in that time when there's some decent winds aloft, and any rain will help bring that down to the surface. Storms like Milton and Beryl aren't that common, and some people just don't know that. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like I said earlier, there's definitely, I bet you there's a couple of people on this beach right now that don't even know that this storm exists. It happens. No matter how hard you try, sometimes people are just still completely unaware, right? And so, yeah, there's probably tons of people out there that just don't know that, there's not going to be a Category 5 hurricane every year. It happens. Seem to be going further south per ADS. B. Yeah, I think Radar Mega is behind a little bit. Is there lightning? Let me see. Not seeing any lightning strikes there. I'm not sure if I have them turned on though. I know I have them turned on Radar Mega, so let me check that out. Or maybe not. I think I'm definitely noticing is right on this part of the storm here, especially if we go over, you can see it pretty well. Definitely a pretty strong area of rain. We even have some purples popping up here. DBZs of around 59 DBZs, which is probably some pretty heavy rain. If I had to guess, probably where some of our stronger winds are. And look at this. We actually have even a couple of circulations near that area too. A lot of tourists now on the beach. Which beach? One of our cameras? There's at least 2 people on this camera. You can see them there just under the pier. Is Monix Corner going to be okay? Let me see. Monix Corner. Yeah, you guys will be all right. You guys are on the dry side of the storm. You'll still get a little bit of wind, but it'll be fine. I'd be surprised if you lost power. I'm not using WeatherWise. As of right now, Radar Mega is just better for tracking hurricanes, in my opinion. But I'm still using it. But I like Radar Mega because I'm able to track the plane. I'm also able to do the 3D satellite, which I really like. I really love the 3D satellite view from Radar Mega, where you can do this and then, do this. Kind of give a different perspective on the storm that you typically wouldn't see. Also, I like the fact that Radar Mega has the models. So I do think eventually WeatherWise will catch up. So I'm looking forward to that update. What is Halo like on reflectivity? Kind of like this. Like if that was a severe thunderstorm over land, I would assume that that would be some hail. This is actually a supercell. That actually might be hail. Dude, look how much this is wrapping up. We almost have a hook on this storm, and we have some rotation on there too. That's interesting. You'd love to be on the beach right now? Really? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would too. I'll be honest, I would love to be out there. But I am a adrenaline junkie. Water spout? Certainly. So, yeah. Could be producing a water spout. Yeah. Yeah, winds still haven't really increased too much. Actually, I think that, oh my goodness, there's like 4 people out there now. There's 2 people on the right, and there's another 2 people, I think, right in front of us. Yeah. This is what happens. Last time we had a tropical storm like of this strength, I think it hit North Carolina. There's people like partying out on the pier and on the beach. Why are there people out there? Because, I mean, to be honest, there's only like 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts here. So if you're just a passerby, or if you live here, you probably don't think it's too dangerous. And it's really not right now, unless you're in the water. It's definitely dangerous to be closer to the water like they are. So I wouldn't advise that. But we really haven't had many big waves come on shore. But you never know. You get one rogue wave and it sweeps you off your feet. It could be very dangerous. So it's definitely not safe, but you know, what are you going to do? Can't tell them. I mean, the best we can do is, you know, try to reach them with a megaphone. Please get off the beach. I repeat, please get off the beach. Yes, I'm talking to you. Please evacuate the beach. Not sure if that worked or not. I saw 2 people leave. I think it kind of worked. SBC not to issue any Mezosco discussion. No, I mean, that's the National Hurricane Center does that. Like they handle the hurricanes. The SPC handles you know, the severe weather. There is they might issue a severe or like a Mezosco discussion for like water spouts coming onto shore, or like that aspect of the storm. It looks like our little area of rotation is getting a little bit weaker now as of our latest velocity scan. I think this will be tornadic. I think there's definitely some potential for tornadoes. Whenever you get a landfalling tropical system, there's always going to be some chance. There could be a couple tornadoes out of this. It's really stressing you out. What is? Do the chipmunk voice to lighten the mood. That's only for donies. If I did it all the time, it would lose its value. A water spout comes on shore. Is it a tornado or still a water spout? It usually is just always considered a tornado or not. But there is differences. Like technically, if it's a non-supercellular water spout, it turns into a land spout as it comes onto land. But if it's a supercellular water spout, like this one, if this one had a water spout on it right now, it'd be a supercellular water spout. That means it's associated with the storm. You know, it has a little mesocyclone or an updraft right there where the winds are rising and spinning as they rise. If that made landfall, that would be a tornado. People not listening or stressing you out. Yeah, I understand. You know, definitely don't want to see anything crazy on stream, right? And the last thing we want to see is one of these people get sucked up into the ocean live. But, you know, hey, at least someone is watching over them. We saw it with our eyeballs. We'd be able to call authorities and, you know, direct them to the right place. But yeah, I understand. You know, so far so good. We've seen a couple people out here. None of them have been sucked up into the ocean. None of them has actually gone into the ocean, thankfully. Some of them have gotten pretty close to the edge of the water, though, or onto the edge of the water. But no close calls yet. They are definitely turning back around. I think. They're doing what appears to be a loop-de-loop right now. Let me do a refresh. It kind of seems like they're turning back around. And somebody said on another website, this thing is traveling back towards the storm, so. See if we have any let's see if we have any updates here. Yeah, looks like the wind gusts are getting a little bit calmer there in Georgetown again. In Myrtle Beach, 28 mile per hour wind gust was recorded in Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. 17 mile per hour winds sustained there. That's our latest updates on the wind. So they still haven't gotten that strong yet, which is expected. And they're doing donuts out there. Y'all have quite the imagination, I will say. Does Lake City, South Carolina look okay? Let me see. Lake City, South Carolina. Yeah, y'all will probably be all right. You're going to be on the drier portion of the storm, but you could get winds maybe up to like 30 to 40 miles per hour wind gust at some times. R2D2 voice? I don't know if I have. I think I have a robot voice.
Hello? Yeah, it's not that great. It's not really a good robot voice. There's a small robot voice.
That one kind of sucks, to be honest. All right, hold on, folks. I got to refill my water real quick, so just give me 1 second. You love the voice changer? I like it too. It gives a little bit of something for the stream that is other than just reporting weather data. I will say the worst one out of them all
is this one.
Oh no, this one
is pretty darn scary. Imagine being like a tornado warning has been issued for your area.
That's scary. That's quite scary. Imagine a fearmonger with that voice. Oh gosh, it'd be over. Gorilla voice. Freddy Cougar. Thanks for the warning, Satan. Oh my goodness. Is the Hurricane Hunter plane coming back? I feel like I wanted to stay up until it came back around, but it's gonna be like another hour or so. One thing I can tell you guys is I do think that y'all will be okay out over here. I think everybody will survive this storm as long as you stay indoors and away from the beach. The only people that are really gonna have any big chances of getting injured or losing life is if you're in the water. But the 50-mile-per-hour winds on the storm is not going to destroy your livelihood. It's just not. It is going to be windy. It's going to be loud for a while. It'll probably raise your anxiety up a little bit. But as long as you avoid the water, you should be okay. That's what I think. I do think power outages will happen, though, for some folks. You're a buoy watching the stream. What do you do? Just keep on doing your thing. How am I? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's been pretty relaxing. I mean, the severe weather really hasn't been overly active recently. It's been, I've been resting my voice, which is, allowed for a lot of extra time to kind of relax, de-stress from the craziness that severe weather season was. And yeah, so I'm feeling pretty darn good. I've been, doing my morning routine, working out a lot more, getting more in shape. Last data from Hurricane Hunter was 19 minutes ago. Interesting. Are they done? Are they about to say that it's finished? I don't know. I mean, it kind of seems like they left the storm. I don't know. We'll see if it goes back. How's my voice? It's feeling pretty good. We'll see how it feels tomorrow. But right now, it feels pretty darn good as long as I keep on drinking my water. I do have to eat. I haven't even eaten dinner yet today. At the Winfield onshore. Yeah, that was an update from about an hour ago. But according to our METAR data, we haven't really seen anything too intense in terms of strong winds. I think our strongest wind gust so far has been 28 miles per hour or 29 miles per hour. So it hasn't gotten dicey just yet out there. Still relatively calm. Do I ever get acid reflux? That is what caused it. One of the big things that's been helping out has been taking antacids. I think that's why my voice struggles in comparison to like other streamers, is because I struggle with stomach problems big time. I think I have like IBS or something. My stomach's never 100%. It usually hovers at around like 80%, sometimes dips into like 60%, but it's never 100%. I could literally eat just just chicken and rice and my stomach will still get upset at me. And that's like the most basic meal that you can eat that could still be somewhat tasty. So yeah, no, I got a good antacid. So that's been helping. Been tested for Crohn's. It could be that. It could be a bunch of different things. I don't got health insurance, so I can't get tested for nothing. I got Obamacare recently. I haven't used it. Then all of a sudden they sent me a bill in the mail for $500 for the premium. I feel like I got scammed. Like, I'm not paying that. I haven't even used the insurance yet. I owe you guys $500. After paying $50 a month? How's my vocal lesions? They feel good. As long as I keep the acid down. You have GERD. That's what some people, or at least some of the online resources, like my doctor right now is AI. I have been using AI for doctor advice. So that's one thing AI is helpful with. I will admit, I don't like AI in a lot of things, but I don't have health insurance, and it does help me at least try different things and figure out, you know, different things of what could be possible that my stuff is. I can't get tested for nothing, guys. So if it like gets to the point where I have to go to the ER, then I'm gonna have to, you know, throw a bunch of money at whatever it takes to get it fixed. But it hasn't gotten that serious. I've never had to go to the ER for it, my stomach, yet. Top camera has lightning. Yeah, that is in Texas. Let me over here. No, it's this camera. This is in Texas. Let me see what we're even looking at here. Yeah, there was a little line of thunderstorms back out over here. Yeah, this camera I think is looking at the thunderstorms in the distance. Yeah, this one is just west of Amarillo. This camera had a crazy shelf cloud on it earlier. Hurricane hunters heading back in, apparently. Yep, they are. They have turned back towards the storm. I think they flew out over here to do a little lunch break. Turned on autopilot. Doing hurricane hunters parallel to Myrtle Beach. Really? What is ADS-B? Is that the thing you sent me earlier? Oh, flight tracking. Ah. How long are we streaming tonight? I'll probably do about 12. Which should be right around when Landfall happens. But I definitely do not have the ability to go to like 4 a.m. So I apologize for that. But we're keeping you in the know as long as possible. I would stay up longer though if this was like a stronger storm for sure. Like during hurricane season, we're gonna be pushing ourselves to the limits when needed and relaxing when not needed, because things can get dicey and for a long time. Like for like a strong storm that comes into like the Gulf of Mexico or even potentially rides the East Coast, you know, it makes landfall, then has tornadoes the next day, sometimes tornadoes the day after that. Could still have some strong winds, flooding issues. I mean, it's like a 48 to like 72 hour event usually when we get a strong hurricane that hits the United States. Tropical storm is not needed for a 30-hour stream. Yeah, definitely not. Or 13-hour stream. Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, we got another person out there. I mean, honestly, if this is happening during the day, I'd probably be live for a while. Probably, I wouldn't be against doing like a 12-hour stream if it was during the day, but I mean, I'm just not like the others. I'm different. I'm really bad at staying awake. Apparently, like, there's so many people in chat that can just stay up forever with no issues. About to go take your melatonin. There you go. Hurricane hunters climbing to 10,000 feet. Wow. They must be trying to go over some of these thunderstorms, maybe. That's what they've been saying. East Coast is going to be kind of in the crosshairs this year, which, you know, seems apparent. I mean, let me see. Let me see if I can get some info on this. Earliest tropical storm for South Carolina. Oh, dang. There was a tropical storm that made landfall. Or that went through South Carolina May 10th. It's not impossible, but this is definitely early for an East Coast landfall. And to start out over the ocean and then make landfall in South Carolina. Just wait for 20. Yeah, nurses are absolute beasts when it comes to staying up. One of my exes was a nurse, and we'd only have like a little time to hang out unless she was off work. She was just working. They work so long, and they really don't get paid as well as they should, to be honest, if you ask me. They do amazing work. Every time I've been to the hospital, I see the doctor like maybe a couple times, and the nurse just constantly. Especially when I had my appendicitis, I remember the nurses very vividly. They were just always, because my appendix burst. And like I was in the hospital for like 5 days, and they had to like put a tube in to like drain it. It was like nasty. To drain out all the fluid, or it would get infected. And the nurses were just there like around the clock, making sure that I survived. And they did so well. I only saw the doctor like a couple of times. The nurses are the ones that kept me alive. Like, honestly. I don't see why they don't get paid more. That just doesn't make sense to me. The Simpsons predicted this? What are you talking about? Live through that? Yeah. No, so what happened was I went into the hospital, but they didn't have the person that like reads the MRI scans on staff. So they had somebody else, I think it was like a nurse practitioner, look at it, and they sent us home. But apparently, that MRI scan showed a very inflamed appendix. It hadn't bursted yet at that point. They sent us home. I went to sleep. I woke up. I couldn't, for lack of better words, go number one. And that worried my mom. And I was like in super intense pain. It was like a 10 out of 10 on the pain scale. And if my mom didn't rush me to the hospital, probably within a couple of hours, I probably would have died. Like, I was very close. So my mom was actually a nurse at the time. So she had the knowledge and the know-how to be like, wait, this isn't good. Can't imagine if it was something else. If my mom was like worked somewhere else and just didn't know and just listened, probably wouldn't be here right now. I got lucky. Let's see if there's any water spout, any more water spouts out there. Might be one over here. Potentially a little bit stronger convection. Might bring a little bit stronger winds down to the surface. This is approaching the Myrtle Beach area right now. Keep an eye on that guy. Yeah, super sharp pain. I mean, it's crippling pain for sure. It was not a fun experience. Hurricane hunters heading back home? Really? Is that it? Nah, they're going through the storm right now. Look at that. We're actually getting some data in. Some more red flags. out there. That's out over here on this portion of the storm. Surprisingly, that the wind field might have expanded a little bit. As before, we didn't get winds that strong there. Well, I guess it's still kind of the same band. It's just a little bit more disorganized. Wow, we're actually getting rain on this camera. Look at this. Look, some winds are picking up here as well. Thank you, Jennifer, Carlita, and Brady for subscribing. Welcome. Yeah, we should get a new update on where the center of circulation is. Conditions are definitely deteriorating over here near Garden City Beach. I wonder if we're going to get any stronger wind gusts out of there. Not very strong rain yet. It's not a big band, but interesting. Actually, it's not. It's actually a decent band of rain coming in here. It's yellow on the radar. Raining decently hard. Yeah, it is. It's moderate rain. You see the wind blowing. Look at that. In that little trench there. You see the wind moving across the screen. Decent wind gusts here. They're getting higher wind values. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trust what it's measuring there. What we look at most of the time is this. Let me or all the time. Get these out of the way here. Is our estimated surface winds, which, believe it or not, in this area is almost 50 knots, which is pretty elevated. And you see we got a rainfall rate spike, so they must have flew through a thunderstorm there. Not the strongest wind, estimated surface wind we've seen yet, but pretty strong. That's probably like 55 mile per hour winds there. And you can see that happen right in that rain spike. So pretty much wherever we get wherever the heavy rain is, that's where our strongest winds are going to be. So probably about to get some pretty decent wind gusts over here near Sunset Beach. And then eventually into like the Myrtle Beach area where we have this little rain band setting up. That's what we're seeing over here near Garden City Beach on this camera is that little band of rain coming in. Yeah, that's True Beans. Yeah, she has been trying. I honestly thought, earlier today that it was possible that it could get up into that 55, 60 mile per hour range, but that dry air has just been really keeping Chantal, calmer, thankfully. But it did strengthen a little bit. It's at 50 miles per hour now, but. All right, Candy, thank you for tuning in. It's pouring in Garden City and the wind has picked up. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now on this camera. Let's go check back on this camera. See if anything's happening near Sunset Beach. Or no, Surfside Beach. Is that a lightning strike? Is that a flash? Can't tell. Kind of seemed like a flash of lightning, maybe. Y'all to see any lightning flashes in Garden City? Near Surfside? And look at that wave right there. That's a big one. It's like following the wave the camera is. That's perfect timing. Another bigger wave. Oh, look at that. That thing crashed there for a little bit. I wonder if there's any rocks. That was a pretty big wave. There's a Cessna flying into the tropical storm? What the heck? Why? Let me see if I can find that on flight radar. I'm not seeing the Cessna. There's like a private jet out there. That's this plane. It's like a private jet. Oh, this one is a Cessna. I didn't know Cessna made. When I think of Cessna, I think of like those little Piper planes. But yeah, there is like a little private jet flying into these conditions here. What is my go-to for Taco Bell? Definitely the Crunchwrap Supreme. All right, latest update from our plane here is that it should be getting pretty close to the center of the storm here. Man, look at all these red wind barbs over here. And it's just right next to this, stronger convection. It didn't fly through it though, or maybe it did, because the data is a little bit delayed, so it might have flown through it. Let me see what that looks like on. We got that information in from here. Yeah, it hasn't come in yet on this website. What are the winds of the tropical storm? It's 55 miles per hour right now. Right, did I say 55? I meant to say 50. Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Those are pretty good. There's a lot of good things that Taco Bell makes. Taco Bell used to be really good though back in the day. Oh, hey, that water's definitely getting closer. It's about to make it to the base of that building. Yes, it's definitely 100% going to make landfall in South Carolina, somewhere near Georgetown or Garden City Beach. What's the winds in the ocean? What? In the ocean? I don't think the ocean has wind. Yeah, Heather, it could be up to 52, according to the latest update from Elijah, who usually does a really good job at tracking fatalities from storm events. I'll see if he has any more. Yeah, his latest update was 52 plus in Central Texas. Not good. Why isn't the Weather Channel on for coverage? Are they not? Fox weather isn't either. I guess tropical storms, to be fair, it really doesn't need, crazy coverage, to be honest. Like, everybody's going to be okay. But you know, in my opinion, people, if they're curious and they want to learn more, I go live. Especially, I mean, we could get some power outages. I don't know. That's interesting though. I would have expected them to at least be on every now and then. But I will say, I mean, it's not that strong of a storm. So that might be their maybe it's below their criteria. What are they playing, like Ice Road Truckers? Latest hurricane hunter data suggests it is accelerating towards land. Really? I need me a new update. I want to see the center of pressure and where it's at. It might be right here because that seems to be where they're beelining it to. Weather hasn't been good since the 2000s. To be honest though, I mean, if they did more coverage, I think they would be more digestible than most of these other YouTube channels. They do ads all the time and they don't do as much coverage anymore. Like my favorite thing used to be like watching the Weather Channel doing their like wall-to-wall tornado outbreak coverage. That used to be my favorite pastime as a kid. And it's just like, they've been recently, like they did a lot more fear mongering now, but I mean, in comparison to like what some of these other YouTubers do, like they're actually pretty calm. They just don't do that much coverage. They're just really not there when people need them. They do like a lot of random other shows and they kind of sold out. It's weird. They just went into a weird space. During hurricane coverage, yeah, I remember that as well. You know, honestly, when I was younger, I was obsessed with hurricanes. I used to watch the satellite loops for hours. I still do. I honestly, like, I just find it so fascinating to look at like the satellite imagery of hurricanes and tropical storms, trying to guess what it's gonna do next. You know. This is what it looks like now on satellite. Look at that. Still pretty healthy storm. You're trying to form an eye? No. It's not going to form an eye. I'm gonna keep it on this because the hurricane hunter should be coming to the center of the storm shortly. Got you into weather was the weather center. Yeah, you know, but like it's weird because the weird thing is that like all mainstream news I feel like did the same thing at the same time. Like it was so weird. Like they all just kind of went downhill, did they not? Yes, I remember that. I think Meme Studio, that like, I think that was like the turning point for a lot of people when that went viral. When they were like, you know, like they were standing in the hurricane, they're like, oh my gosh, the winds are going so insane. And he was like leaning into it, like the winds were strong. And then like somebody like walked behind them. Like nothing was happening. But to be fair, you know, it's kind of a shame because, you know, they do have a crap ton of money. The amount that like a business like that could change the weather world is like tremendous. And they barely made any contribution. That's honestly, like, I think the biggest letdown of the Weather Channel. Like, they now have radars out there that like you can buy, and they're not like super expensive, and they do give decent coverage, and they're decent radars. They're active. They're, you know, like a big corporation like that could like fill like all radar holes in like a snap of a finger. Like, such a wasted opportunity to really push the weather space to like new heights. Oh yeah, they had so many good what was it, like top 10 weather event things. Ugh. I miss it. Old school Weather Channel, man. What a nostalgia. The shareholders, exactly. I think what it is just like, you know, they're just trying to appeal to like bigger audiences, and it doesn't work. Like, instead of just doing their own thing, like when they were just doing their own little thing, it worked. But now they've been trying to like appeal, like they try to appeal to like bigger audiences. They like, which is why they do like the ice road truckers. Like, that really doesn't have much to do with weather. A little bit, I guess. It's cold and it's snowy and there's ice, but it's like people didn't watch the Weather Channel for that. And then playing like a ad during a tornado outbreak, like on purpose, like a 2-minute ad space during a tornado outbreak when everybody's watching you to stay weather aware. Like, oh yeah, it's definitely accelerating towards land. And we just got our latest update from our Hurricane Hunter. Looks like our center of pressure is out over here. So in about 2 hours, it's gone from here to here. So yeah, about 12 miles per hour. It seems like it's moving now. That's the center of pressure right there. We're probably about 30 miles from landfall. But all right, folks, I have got to eat. I have got to go to sleep, get me some rest. But I do appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Obviously, it's awesome to meet you guys. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. And I can tell you, you guys will be okay with this storm. Again, you know, I don't necessarily disagree if somebody's not live covering this storm, although I know it's helpful. But the thing is you're not going to die from this storm unless you're just one of those people that for some reason goes in the water right now. Then you're probably not going to survive. But as long as you're indoors and away from windows, you will survive this storm. I promise. So don't freak out. You will be okay. But yeah, that's the latest data. We're still not seeing any, you know, last minute intensification. So I think we're pretty locked in here at 50-mile-per-hour storm. And those conditions will get worse and worse as we go into the night. I think the worst of it will be around in this area. If there's anything still going on like tornado warnings, tomorrow we'll go live again, probably as soon as I wake up, which will probably be sometime like at around 9 to 10 a.m. just given how late the stream is and I still gotta eat. But yeah, if there's something still happening tomorrow, we'll go live again. But hopefully we were able to provide you guys with some updates and to keep you in the know. And yeah, the winds from here on out will be gradually getting worse and worse. But again, it's gonna peak out at around 50 miles per hour. So it's gonna get a little windy, gonna feel a little crazy, like what we're seeing on some of these cameras, like this one. You can definitely tell there's some wind and rain. On this camera, you can definitely tell there's some more wind and rain here. Things are definitely going downhill. But I do think you will survive. And I can say that with quite a high amount of confidence, as long as you don't do nothing stupid. So can everybody promise me in chat not to do nothing stupid like go into the ocean? One thing is for sure. She is not live yet. Okay. And I'm not sure if I can rate a stream that is not live. But what I can do is at least give you guys a link. If you guys are really midnight warriors, come over here to Pagey Tornado's stream. They will be live like on the ground with this storm. So if you want the updates like right from the center of the storm, I would go over there, hit the notify me button, and yeah, go over there, say hi, hit the like button, help her out on the algorithm, hit that notify me button. She'll go live, and if you're truly, like you guys say, midnight warriors, she'll be live at 3:30, maybe earlier, depending on when the stronger winds get there. And she'll be giving the conditions and coverage on the ground as it happens. So go over there, check it out. The link is in the chat. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Of course, as always, I really enjoy meeting you guys. And it was a pleasure giving you guys the forecast tonight. And I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. If the storm is still doing stuff, we'll see. It could be a little bit of a tornado threat tomorrow. We'll see. So, have a good rest of your night. Huge shout out to the mods. Thank you guys for keeping the chat awesome. And I will see y'all when I see you.